We've reached the final, and what a matchup we've got. It is Venezuela against the United States.
2-2. Garcia drives the ball to left center field. Buxton in the run will get there. But one pitch after the wild pitch, Venezuela strikes first. Here's a drive to center field off of the bat of Abreu. Wilyer Abreu hits it out. Machado's 1-0 pitch. Harper sends a fly ball to deep center field. Better late than never. Bryce Harper has tied the championship. 1-2 to Judge is right at the knees for strike 3 to end the inning. Sanoja runs. Throw from Will Smith is not in time. He's stolen second. Into left center field, headed for the gap, and Venezuela has retaken the lead. Eugenio Suarez just like that. Venezuela, the best in baseball.
Live from New York. It's a show that's very happy for Venezuela.
I told you.
As a fan of sport,
No, you gotta be.
it was just amazing.
That's what
Gotta be.
when Italy was in the Final Four and I said I was rooting for them over the U.S., it was a similar idea, which is it did mean more for the players on Venezuela, even certainly more than it would have been for Italy, because most of those were American guys anyway, like for them to win. And the U.S. comported themselves great. Is awesome for them.
It was just it was a great night of sport.
And I can't wait. I don't normally care about the rating of things that aren't our TV show, but I can't wait to see how many people watched it. Like, that's going to be a number that will only be trumped by football games.
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to be
worldwide numbers will be good too.
A huge event. It was great.
Would have been sick if Roman Anthony hit it out though.
No.
Everyone was rooting for the Red Sox.
Did you hear Joe Davis? It was like, oh, this has been the Red Sox baseball classic. No, buddy. No. It hasn't been. It was the Royals baseball classic. Anything. See who won MVP? You see whose gear's going to the Hall of Fame? A couple of Royals.
Today, Max details his Ravens visit. Odd, Brew.
Not great.
Well, it should have been odd. The whole thing is odd.
Is he staying with the Raiders or is he on the move yet again? Meanwhile, it's our premiere of World Cup Wednesday. U.S. team unveiled their early roster as we prepare for 2 friendlies. And Nick has got some presents for us, I heard.
I do.
Oh, wow.
Have you heard about this?
No, Brew doesn't
He's
know.
a great present giver, so we'll find
He
out.
is. I can't wait.
You do love presents.
Designer something. Designer. Nick don't play with the gifts. Nick does
For the
not
record,
play with
I don't play with the gifts either, but you don't use mine.
It broke.
It didn't break.
It stopped working. It's a pin that doesn't write. I gotta go to the store and get it refilled.
Because it's
Was
a
it
good
car?
pen.
Like a gas station? What?
It didn't break.
Hey, Brew, I'm just
It doesn't
curious.
write, I know that.
The robe or the loafers or sneakers I got you, you got to take those in anywhere. They just always
They're
work.
always
I got
good.
Brew.
I don't have to go clean
A
them,
great
refill them,
pen,
nothing.
a lifetime pen.
Yeah.
Oh,
I used
really?
It
It
worked
didn't
for about
last?
6 months, and then all of a sudden it wasn't writing.
We start in Miami. Venezuela are champions of the baseball world. USA silver medalist. Eduardo Rodriguez was amazing on the mound. Venezuelan bullpen also amazing. U.S. bats ice cold. Pool play out here crushing the ball. Then Canada, a little bit worse. DR batted 212. Yesterday, we batted 100.
Not great.
No. What was the number one reason Team USA lost?
Venezuela performed in the bigger spots better than Team USA did. Once semifinals on, USA bats were dead.
Yeah.
And so that's going to happen. It's single elimination sports, but particularly single elimination baseball can be brutal. It's why it's such great theater. So, and even though Team USA lost, there's only one loser, and I'm not calling the person a loser, but there's only one person that I think came out of this tournament in a losing position.
Holding an L.
Yeah, there you go. That's a better way to put it. And that's manager Mark DeRosa. Because for the second time, he gave an interview where it seemed like he was not as familiar with the rules, and this is a rule I know he knows, as he should have been, which was when he was asked why they didn't go to the best pitcher available and one of the best closers in the world, here's what he said yesterday after the game.
Honoring the Padres. Had we taken the lead, he was coming in. But I wasn't going to bring him into a tie game.
When you would never get the chance to get the lead again.
What's that?
There wasn't going to be a safe situation at that point.
I wanted to honor the fact that there was a situation there where if it was tied, we were going to use Whitlock. We had talked to the Red Sox about that, and if we had the lead, we were going to use Mason.
Okay, that flatly doesn't make sense. If
I mean, I think he meant in the eighth, though.
But
if we had gone up 3-2 in the eighth,
right?
I think that's what he meant.
But if the Padres were okay with Mason Miller throwing up 3-2 in the eighth, then they've got to be okay with him pitching tied in the ninth. I understand it can't be, hey, you're going in and you're staying in. But if he's allowed to try to go get you 3 outs, once you knew you were the home team, unless the rule was he has to be used before the ninth inning, then it makes no logical sense whatsoever that he is allowed to pitch the top of the eighth but not the top of the ninth, or that he's allowed to pitch the top of the ninth leading but not the top of the ninth tying. And it felt to me like Mark DeRosa, and you can't put it on, he fumbled over his words. He's a professional communicator. Mm-hmm. He's a broadcaster by trade. I thought he was the only person involved in the tournament that didn't come out looking awesome.
It was odd that, look, we knew going into it, pitching is the odder parts of managing this lineup because I don't know if it was A-Rod or someone told us you have to manage your guys, the team, USA Baseball, and deal with every baseball team's managers and how much, grace do you give them and listen to them? He's like honoring the Padres. I don't know if Venezuela treated it the same way or just pushed back a little bit more.
You saw their manager said he talked to some of the managers from the teams, the MLB teams were his pitchers, and got a little grace. Like, hey, who did he throw back to back?
The guy who got the final outs for them, he said he wasn't initially going to be able to use them, but then he called his team was allowed to.
Yep.
But I just don't. It felt like just like it, and maybe it's colored by the fact that I thought DeRosa should have just said, I made a mistake about not knowing the rules. And instead he's like, no, I knew the rules. That he was sloughing it off on the Padres when you're telling us the Padres were okay with Mason Miller pitching. You can't convince me that the Padres were like, he can only pitch if he's going to be eligible for a save.
Yeah, that's
the hell do they care about? That doesn't make sense.
But they said he's only going 1 inning.
That's fine. So,
that was the thing.
So the top of the ninth is what?
But I think, DeRosa did not clothe himself in glory this week. All right, so I'm not necessarily trying to defend him. I'm saying I understand what he was saying. I think he's like, if we had been up going into the ninth, which they had a chance to, and I'll get to Aaron Judge struck out looking, all right, instead of swinging the bat when they could have had a chance to take the lead, we would have put him in the ninth to save the game, all right? Now I think he's thinking, and you're right, he could have put him in, but had he shut them down and then it goes into the 10th tied, he's got to take him out. So I'm thinking he's thinking, look, nobody's been scoring a lot during the game. Let's see if we can get the ninth. I think he said he wouldn't have put him in if it was tied.
Right,
obviously,
which means he was never going to play.
But I think he may have had, like, if it kept going, he would have probably put him in at some point, whether 10th or – I just think it's – but, again, I'm not trying to defend him because he doesn't look great. But the guy who doesn't – you said doesn't come out of this looking awesome. Because I agree. I think DeRosa probably took the biggest hit, the only guy that kind of is carrying an L. But Aaron Judge – and he wasn't the only one not hitting.
No, nobody hit, but –
Nobody hit. But Aaron Judge, Bobby Witt and Aaron Judge – now, Witt, I'm not saying – he's not as big of a star as Judge.
Correct.
Judge and Witt were 0 for 7 yesterday.
Yep.
All right. Outside of Bryce Harper, I'll give DeRosa this. And again, I'm not trying to be the DeRosa apologist. But when Bryce Harper was, 5 for 27 throughout the tournament until the last game, and people wanted him to bench Harper,
or
he
move him
stuck
down in
with
the
him.
lineup. Yeah.
And he had, he's the only one gave us a shot to win, had 2 of our 3 hits. The rest of the lineup was 1 for 26. So our bats went cold. I'm not even going to say our bats went cold because you're right. You said that can happen in baseball. It shouldn't happen when you got a lineup full of superstars. That's why you get that lineup. So, look, if Judge is cold, Harper will be hitting. Or if Harper's cold, Schwarber will be. Like, you figure somebody's going to be able to hit. Eduardo Rodriguez, who pitched the first 4+ innings, shut us down. 1 hit, no runs. He had a 5.02 ERA last year for Arizona. So we should be able to, we didn't hit well. And so Judge, though, is the guy that certainly doesn't come out looking awesome. I don't think he takes as big of an L as DeRosa, but this is heavy is the head that wears the crown. And look, we've been talking about it in the NBA. This is what Luka's facing, all right? LeBron faced this early in his career. James Harden, God bless him, a lot of his fantastic career has unfortunately been defined by not being able to get it done in some of the big games.
Someone out that comes to mind?
Lamar, I mean, Lamar got to get it. I don't think he's as bad as these guys yet, but yeah, Lamar got to get it done too. But look at his numbers. Everything in the playoffs goes down. Batting average, totally, everything goes way down. All right. And here's the thing. The Yankee who, at least recently, is viewed as Mr. Clutch and great in the playoffs, Derek Jeter. His numbers in those categories, they actually go up a little in some of them, but essentially they remain what they always are in the regular season. He hit .310 for his career. He hit .308 for his postseason career. So if you just be who you are in the regular season, that's a clutch postseason player because you're facing better competition. Games mean more. And so this is just another kind of thing. Judge hit .222, struck out 3 times yesterday. The last time looking, this is just added on to, okay, this guy's got to get it done. And if the Yankees make the playoffs, this will come up.
Well, so can I
a little
ask?
bit.
So
it'll come up a little bit.
So can I ask that before you go to your thing, just real quick, staying on Judge? Because he was awesome this last Yankee playoff run. We talked about it. In the series they lost, he had 600. In the playoffs as a whole, granted, it was limited. It was total of 6 games.
That's it, and they didn't go deep.
He had 500, right. They didn't go deep. Here is where I feel like if I'm Aaron Judge's friends or family and I'm seeing this, I'm a little annoyed. Because what I think is definitively true, if he was awesome and they won, and he had the Bryce Harper moment and then a walk-off in the 12th, and then struggles this coming postseason, no one is going to be like, well, you can't say he's not a playoff performer. Remember the WBC. It felt like this could only be used against him. Like there is,
I agree.
If we would have won it,
right?
If we would have won it, and
let's
he was
say
awesome,
homers in the 8th, and they win the game,
and in 6 months he's bad in the playoffs, and you think someone's going to be like, hold on, you can't criticize Aaron Judge, playoff performer, because of what he did in the World Baseball Classic?
No, we've seen him be great on a big stage.
I think it
would be a mark in the positive column.
Yeah, it would have come up. Look, for the time being, it would have shut all of that down. Yeah. Then if they get to the playoffs and he struggled, this would have come up. But I do agree with you that ultimately people would have said, well, he still got to get it done in the playoffs. But for the time being, until then, everybody would have been shutting down that big game talk.
Here's a hot take. We lost because we weren't the better team. We may have had the better lineup, maybe, but the better team won. And it was pretty obvious post-game, it became blatantly obvious that we were a collection of all-stars and guys that wanted it, pretty much. Okay. It would be better to get a gold medal than a silver medal, but we weren't willing to run through a wall like it felt like Venezuela was. A lot of our Mason Miller is only going 1 inning. Don't do it again. Tariq Skubal drove through the rain, but he's not willing to pitch, but he wants to be there. Venezuela was weeping. We'll get to. They were weeping after the game. Today is a national.
They wanted it more.
They wanted it more.
But that's different than being the better team.
No, I don't mean team as in roster. I mean team as in include all the intangibles and specialness that it takes to be a real team. They were talking about being a family. It was a nice all-star team. I did not like, yes, Roman Anthony and Aaron Judge and Bryce Harper are now brothers. But I didn't feel like that. I don't think they felt
I don't
like
know
that.
how much that you're right in that their manager called and said, look, we're going to use these guys. So I'll give you that. But look, I think your point, the better team, we can't sit here. Major League Baseball is the best league. We think we haven't played Japan, but I think it's the best league. It's got people all over the world.
Yes.
You can't sit here confidently and say America is the best baseball country. I mean, there's other countries. The DR might have had the best team.
And Japan might have had the best team. And Venezuela won it. So the only counterpunch to your point is everything you're saying about Venezuela, about how much there was something to the international, particularly the Latin American players, saying this is bigger than the World Series.
Yeah.
And none of the American players seemed to feel that way. But all of that was true for the DR, who we beat 2 days ago.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so that's not like a cure-all to winning the games. But it was, and even more so for Venezuela than the DR team, because Venezuela's almost all of the stars on the DR team are stars in Major League Baseball.
Yes.
Venezuela has some stars in Major League Baseball, and also some guys that play in Japan and play elsewhere. This was, for them, the biggest moment in their country's baseball history by a lot. And for a lot of those guys, it was, and they also, obviously, Venezuela right now is, listen, we're not geopolitical experts on this show, but their nation is going through a very tough time in, just
and
weeks
they mentioned
ago.
that. The manager, some of the players.
And about trying to bring joy to the nation. Like, there is a power of that.
Absolutely.
That I don't think could be translated for the Americans.
Yeah,
it's great to see.
The country needed it, and we needed it too.
Yeah.
It was excellent. All right, Venezuela's first WBC championship. Entire series was electric. TV ratings records, attendance records, and a final game that encapsulated the passion around the tournament. Here's Suarez postgame.
Nobody believed in Venezuela, but now we win the championship today. And it's a celebration for all the Venezuelan country. This team is awesome. We are family here. That's why we play with passion, with love, because we feel the jersey. We feel our country in front of us.
It was just an amazing post-game interview. How will you remember the World Baseball Classic?
Well, look, it's hard not to say the emotions from some of the other teams, particularly Venezuela, won't be the defining thing, because it could be that. But for me, it's just going to be, I think for me and for most Americans, the first time this WBC really felt like a big deal, like a big event. And obviously, we wanted to win it badly, not as much as some of the other teams, but it meant something to us for the first time, I kind of feel like. And I think, Nick, I'll remember it as the first of, I think going forward, this is going to be a big event. And I think we're going to continue to send our best guys, try to win this thing. And so I look back at Team USA basketball. When our college team was winning every year, every 4 years, it wasn't a big deal. All right, well, it was a big deal because it was college guys, it was a little closer. But once they started losing, it became bigger. We sent the Redeem team or the Dream Team.
Yep. The Dream Team was a big deal. Like this.
Right, but through the rest of the 90s and the Dream Team, it was a joke. It was like I would hardly watch the games because we were winning by 50 points. Then again, we start losing. And then we had the Redeem Team, and it made it more. And even this year, or last time, was a big deal with LeBron, Steph, KD. So I think the fact that we didn't win, that we've only won 1 out of 6.
Yeah.
I think that's just going to even make it even bigger. And so I'll remember this as like, this
Good
was
call.
the first one that really launched the WBC.
I have 3 words: joy, happiness, and fun. It was just an excellent event all around, and I have some recommendations I'd like to get your take on. Number 1, Major League Baseball. More instruments involved.
Yeah.
We need.
That was big in the crowd in Japan.
We
too.
need
Yeah.
instruments. In high school, we've got instruments. Everybody knows it. In college basketball, college football, we got full-on bands there.
Yeah.
We go to pro football, nothing's happening. You go to pro baseball, there's no instruments. More instruments. Number 2, more celebrations.
Yeah.
The idea of like the bat flip, that is obviously a avenue for people to show their personalities and their full selves, and it's just great. Like, who's against
Did
bat
you read
flips?
Passan's column today?
No.
It's about that.
Oh,
And
good.
you'd love it. Like, it speaks to that.
Was it about using an espresso as a noisemaker as well? Like, I want the whole
No,
thing.
Passan thinks that the reason bat flips became somewhat acceptable in Major League Baseball was the World Baseball Classic 20 years ago. And seeing
love it.
and like that helped kind of remove some of the unwritten rules from baseball because we saw how other countries celebrate.
So, in a serious note, baseball has a unique challenge of when it comes to celebrations. In basketball, you can have a lot of aura. Anthony Edwards can have a lot of aura, let's say. Anthony Edwards is going to be good every night, regardless. Anthony Edwards can play on like a sprained ankle, and he's still going to give you 28. He's never going to go into a slump. In baseball, you can go into a long slump. And it's like, man, why are you that's what you get for celebrating. So you kind of have to wrap your arms around celebrating overall.
Also in basketball, if you do 3
slump-proof.
goggles, nobody can throw a 95-mile-an-hour baseball. Exactly. Like, what are they going to do to you? Like,
Exactly. So we're getting closer.
Yes.
The Red Sox have like the big green monster helmet, but more celebrations. Yeah. Let these guys show their full personalities more.
So I'm kind of in a similar place, and I realized when I was about to, the reason I had wanted you to go was I felt myself getting oddly emotional for a second, and I didn't want to. But I'm going to try to make a profound, a seemingly profound point.
Okay.
So I think it is foolish to pretend all people are the same.
Absolutely.
Like human beings all share a humanity, and I think we all share a core moral fiber, and we're, those things. But within America, like black people and white people, generally go to church a little differently, have weddings a little differently. Myself, you know what I mean? There are different cultural things that are totally fine, but ultimately, what we're doing at church or what we're doing at our weddings or we're doing at Thanksgiving is the same. We just have different cultural signifiers to go along with it. The world, and part of this might be because I went to that game in Japan, but seeing how the Latin American players celebrate and enjoy and play baseball, and then seeing how the Japanese players celebrate and enjoy and play baseball, and the crowds, and then the different American players, while all literally striving for the same goal, while all literally playing the same sport, I don't know why I found it really special. And I thought it was a nice reminder for all of us during very, let's call it tumultuous times, that the superficial parts can be so different while we're all doing the same thing and hoping for the same thing. And I thought that was really cool. I thought it was really something to it. And I also, and that's why I'm kind of glad the underdog won. The underdog, Venezuela, won. It did mean more to them. But I think, and I got to think, because Bryce Harper watched him celebrate and then talked in Passan's column about he wanted to win, but how he was happy for them.
Right,
and I do think there is an element of learning from each other's cultures and celebrations, being like, oh, that's fun. I like that. I don't like that. I don't know. Like I said, it really did means something to me in a way international sports can bring us together and remind us that we're very different in certain ways while all being kind of the exact same.
I thought that was great.
My takeaway.
That was excellent.
Oh, thanks.
Deep, man.
I told you. It really was a work trip.
This was a work trip.
I told you. I apologize. Exactly.
Are people sleeping on the Broncos? That's next on First Things First and Fox Sports Channel on Sirius XM.
Halliday presents, in the red corner, the undisputed, undefeated Weed Whacker Guy. Champion of hurling grass and pollen everywhere. And in the blue corner, the challenger, extra strength, Halliday. Eye drops that work all day to prevent the release of histamines that cause itchy allergy eyes. And the winner by knockout is Halliday. Halliday, bring it on.
Join Fox in supporting our troops. From daily needs to global emergencies, help us be there for those who serve. Scan the QR code or visit go.fox/Red Cross and donate to Service to the Armed Forces. Welcome back to the show. Former almost Raven Maxx Crosby detailed the contract that wasn't on his podcast. Long story short, weird stuff. The Baltimore visit left him confused and, quote, livid. Here's Max with the most ironic podcast set ever. Take a listen.
It was good, though. Good listen.
This is the thing, bro. Like, everyone's got their own theory, conspiracy theory. No one really will ever admit at either side what the real truth is. We ate lunch. We chilled for a little bit. I'm chilling on my phone. I'm like, what the is going on, bro? I'm sitting there waiting for a call. I can't even sit still. Call CJ back. He hits me. He's like, yo, they're backing out. And it's crazy because their guy like called me. One of the Ravens guys called me and was like, "Yo, we're trying to figure this out. You know, we're gonna get this done. Don't worry." Like 5 minutes later, CJ calls me. It's like, they're backing out. I'm like, holy. So I'm like frozen. I'm like, what the? I'm livid, confused, the whole nine, all in one.
I love this interview. Does this change your view of the trade that wasn't?
Well, first, let me say this, because this was really the first emotion I felt listening to it. It's a great listen. I was thinking when he said, and people, we didn't play the whole thing, but when it was hours. He was at the facility for hours before he met the GM Eric DeCosta and the head coach Jesse.
Can I tell you something? I'm gone. I'm gone.
Well, okay.
I think we just said 5. Was it 5 hours? Did he say?
Well, he said he was there an hour before the physical, and he still hadn't met him.
Right.
So and then he has the physical and then meets him later. But like
I'm out of there.
The fact that go ahead. Sorry.
Well,
Sorry,
but I'm thinking when he finally met him, he said the energy was off.
Yep.
And they said, like, we don't know how to say this, but our doctors have some concerns about your knee and what we saw. I was putting my thinking to him, and he said it. He was terrified. Imagine at that point, he's really thinking, is my knee really jacked up? Like, am I never going to be the same? And he still may have those thoughts. He talked to his doctor. He reassured him. But he still may have those thoughts. So I was just thinking, I felt for him.
Yeah.
Because I was like, in that moment, he probably was really like,
worried about
what?
his career.
Like, yeah. So, but honestly, to answer your question, this just bolstered. Now, I get the skepticism. And maybe they did just, think about it for a few days and say, wow, we giving up 2 firsts for a guy, 29, coming off injury. Maybe that I get that. And maybe that's what happened. But my view is that their doctors really saw something that maybe another team will pass, but for their doctors, it was something. And the reason I say that I'm bolstered in that belief is because I think when he was at the facility and it was a long time before they met, I think they're talking to the doctors like, there's a problem? And then start thinking, what are we going to do? Like, how do we get out of this?
This is why you are a great guy, Chris Broussard.
I'm just saying, I mean, that might be it. But I mean, look, they're adults. They're a great organization. I know they're not a great organization.
I think Wildes might be worried the great organization went to the Giants. Like,
Harbaugh is a great guy.
Right.
He is a great guy.
I mean, how much?
This whole ordeal was not a strike in the great organization category.
No, but I'm saying, when I say great organization, I mean they thought about, before they made this trade, they thought about, are we really going to do this?
Oh, yes.
Right? They brainstormed, they came to an agreement. So for them to then all of a sudden get cold feet, unless you think they saw some of the media comments and thought, oh, wow, are we doing the wrong thing?
Trey's price was lower than they thought. So here,
according to Schefter, they had been talking with Trey. But let me say this lastly, Nick.
Go ahead.
The Cowboys doctor was one of the doctors that analyzed the scans. Yep. And the fact that the Cowboys never, decided not to get back in it, from what we know, no other teams are trying to trade for Crosby. So I just think I think they saw something that maybe made them say, you know what, in 3 years, he's not going to be the same player. Might be great this year, not in 3 years. And then they pulled out.
So the part of it that, to me, I classify, there were two things that I classified as actual news. Mm-hmm. One might be petty and silly, and the other is noteworthy. The petty and silly one is this. I am surprised they did not fly him private there. When he got on the plane, he is about to become the second highest paid player in franchise history. They have traded 2 first-round picks for him, and they know, because Baltimore is not a huge hub, that if you want to fly commercial direct from Vegas, you have to go to D.C. And so they said, you know what? It's $30,000 to charter a private plane. Not going to do it. We'll put you first class, and then have you ride for 2 hours.
They flew him back private. But I agree.
Right.
They
and so,
no, I think the Raiders flew him back private.
Oh, really?
I think so.
That part I don't know. I know he flew back.
I read the Raiders.
I thought he might have flown himself.
But they should have flown him private.
So that was just noteworthy. Totally. And by the way, I just want to. I've never flown private in my life. I'm not like acting like first class, but. Typically, for something like this,
absolutely,
that struck me as odd, particularly because they knew he was then going to have to take a 2-hour car ride from D.C.
with your knee.
Right.
Yeah.
That was extra noteworthy to me when I then found out, according to Crosby, he did not see DaCosta or the new head coach, Jesse Minter, the first hour he was in the building pre-physical. So whatever discussion they're doing post-physical, before their doctors have seen the knee, the head coach and the GM don't meet him. Like that part to me was stunning.
Should have greeted him on the tarmac.
Right, and not on that. So that's the first thing where I'm like, wait, did they really have cold feet before they saw the scans? Because that then gets to my other point, which is I don't know what acceptable rules on passing a physical should be for a player that is very recent post-surgery where he's not technically going to be able to pass. Like, they knew he had major surgery 9 weeks ago or 7 weeks ago, so he wouldn't be able to pass a physical in the sense like a guy would have to pass at the trade deadline to play next week. That just feels so nebulous on what is passing.
Totally subjective.
It's subjective. It's maybe
the Raiders probably would pass him on the same physical.
Right, but like
so
what?
It's
and so like that. So
KW,
that to me is I have not been big on the conspiracy theory gets thrown around too much on the idea.
Cold feet.
Yeah, that they got cold feet.
So you don't think that's
that
what
they
happened?
pulled
I
out?
have not been big on that, but I am stunned the GM and the head coach weren't the first people he saw when he walked into the building.
They should have had a celebration like they had for Jesse Minter when he walked in the building and everybody was waiting.
That's what
they should have had
thought.
that. Now, again, if they were mulling it over like we may not do that, maybe they got cold feet. You still should treat him with that type of respect. Yeah. And even I'm not saying have the celebration with all the people in the organization, but the coach and GM should have been there to greet him at the front door, if not at the airport or wherever. I agree with that. They should have treated him much better than that.
Just walking up to random, like, you got the code for the bathroom on Maxx Crosby.
Here's the thing: if they got cold feet,
Max, there's a snack machine down the hall. There's a change machine there too if you have dollars. Doesn't take cards. All right, we had a day to digest the Jalen Waddle trade to Denver. We all like the move. Odds makers, however, said, odds in the West, Chiefs, Chargers, and Broncos in third place. Over/under for Denver is 9.5. Chiefs and Chargers 10.5, so it's not a huge difference.
No, it's close.
But third place is third place. They won 14 games last year. But, so, do the Chiefs or the Broncos deserve more respect?
I'm surprised at how quickly some, NFL fans and media have just, not Vegas hasn't, but some have just been like, okay, the Chiefs are clearly, they have Mahomes, so they should be in the mix, but they're not, nothing special. I'm surprised by that. And I think the team that prior to last year had been to 5 of 7 Super Bowls, and while Brew correctly points out the last couple years, Mahomes' stats were down, but they won 15 games. The team wasn't down. You know what I mean? Because this is not a specific just to Mahomes conversation. Sure. The team was not down when they went 15-1 and then lost the Super Bowl the year before when they went. I guess they were down a little bit when they went 11-5 or 6, but they then won the Super Bowl. And so I think the Chiefs. Let me put it like this. I think there is, and I believe in the Broncos to a degree. I said I liked the trade, and I begrudgingly gave them the respect as it went on. But I think the Broncos' year is more likely to be, I think both years last year were a little bit of a fluke. The Broncos more so. I think the Chiefs' year, I don't want to call it a fluke. They deserve to be a bad team, but there was an outlier year in the negative way. I think the Broncos' year is probably going to be a bit of an outlier in the 14 wins major positive way.
Sure.
If that's, you know what I mean? So
I don't think they'll win 14.
Right. I think the Chiefs still deserve to be the favorites at the very least in their own division, which they are.
Yeah, I don't. And I think the only reason to believe in the Chiefs is the history, which is a legitimate reason. I mean, it's not ancient history, it's recent. But that 15-1 year, a lot of their games were close, and strange things happened. They made it happen, the blocked field goal of the Broncos and all that. And then they got annihilated in the Super Bowl. And then last year, they were just bad. I mean, They started out okay. At one point, we thought, okay, the Chiefs are back. And then it just went downhill. And even with Mahomes, they were 6-8. So I think the reason to think believe more in the Chiefs than the Broncos is their pedigree. And Mahomes is in his prime, but Mahomes is coming off a serious knee injury. And so they haven't done anything in the receiving group to help him out. We don't even know if their best receiver is going to be there, Rashee Rice. Kelsey's back, that's nice, but he's older.
Who do you think made the bigger addition? Kenneth Walker or Jalen Waddle?
Kenneth Walker's a good addition. I think that's a good addition, but you can argue that was as big as Jalen Waddle, but I don't think Kenneth Walker's he's not one of the elite running backs in the league.
I don't think he's one of the three. I don't think he's one of the 3 or 4 best. I think
no.
He's a
good running back. I just don't think that it was a good addition. They needed a running back. But I think, look, the Broncos were better last year. The Broncos beat them twice last year. Beat them, I know the one 2 years ago was when the starter sat. But had a chance, had them down, almost beat them before that, but for a blocked field goal. And then added Jalen Waddle. The Broncos, I think, have the better defense. Versus the run, versus the pass, they get more sacks. Offensively, both teams weren't good last year. I mean, and Mahomes, look, I hope Mahomes returns to form, but I've shown this before, but look, the last 3 years, he hasn't been the Patrick Mahomes that we all have come to know and love. And so coming off a knee injury without adding to their receiving core, is he going to be the old Mahomes again? I think there's a question mark there.
I'd like to see one more move on the offense.
I think that's, I mean,
Well, the
nice
draft
pick
will
of the
be
draft.
huge, and we'll see what they do in the draft.
You think it's offense?
I mean, well,
Definitely?
I think the Chiefs have 2 first-round picks now. The Broncos have none. So that's a piece of it.
Michael Rubin joins us to talk about the Fanatics Flag Football game coming up this weekend. But first, David Ortiz closes out the WBC. Take a listen.
I gotta give you one more thing right here. Only the international assassin get this. Motto.
Bobby, T-shirts, cigars. What else he got?
Oh, man, he got it all. He deserves it all. He's the champ, man.
This episode is brought to you by Indeed. Stop waiting around for the perfect candidate. Instead, use Indeed sponsored jobs to find the right people with the right skills fast. It's a simple way to make sure your listing is the first candidates see. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs have 4 times more applicants than non-sponsored jobs. So go build your dream team today with Indeed. Get a $75 sponsored job credit at Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply.
Brady is back on the field for the Fanatics Flag Football Classic. It will be on Fox, star-studded 3-team round-robin tournament featuring the best in the game. Saturday at 4 on Fox. Joining us now for all the details is Michael Rubin. Michael, thank you for joining us. What can we expect from the flag football game coming up?
Well, first, Tom Brady has guaranteed me that his team is going to win and that he's going to be MVP.
Excellent.
Oh, wow.
He did that with me at the Fanatics games last summer at Fanatics Fest. I didn't believe him. Of 100 people, he won. He showed why he was MVP. But I think what you can expect is an incredible demonstration of flag football. I mean, look, flag football is one of the fastest growing sports in the world. It's so exciting. Obviously going to be here in the Olympics in 2028 in Los Angeles. We've got so many of the top NFL stars and best athletes in the world to play in this game, and I couldn't be more excited for it. Also to have Team USA, who is the best flag football team in the world, against 2, primarily NFL-based teams. That's going to make it really exciting. People are going to take this very seriously. This is not, going to be like your average flag football game. I mean, there's a lot of smack being talked right now, and people are very serious about winning this game.
I don't doubt at all that Team USA flag football is going to take it seriously. We heard some of them chirping about a year ago when people were like, would Patrick Mahomes play quarterback in the
Darnell,
yeah, he's my guy.
Doucette was like, no, he can't win my spot.
Look, the guy can move.
I understand the guy can
Flag
move.
football's not tackle football.
I understand that. So I know they're going to take it seriously. I also feel like, Michael, that Tom Brady, I think he loves working with us at Fox. I think he loves what he's doing with the Raiders. I also think maybe at least once a week he wakes up and he's like, should I come back?
Yeah, I'm
should I keep playing?
Top 10.
Yeah.
There's not a more competitive human being that I know. And there's nothing I enjoy more than the typical banter and hazing that goes on between the two of us. He is so excited for this game. He was so excited to return to the field. And I got to tell you something. I can't wait to see how it plays out. I wish that I put aside all the responsibilities that we have in putting this incredible, flag football competition together. I could just watch it as a fan because it's going to be so fun to see Tom Brady on the field partnered with Jalen Hurts, Joe Burrow together with Jaden Daniels. I mean, you got 4 of the best NFL quarterbacks going at it. Then together with the USA flag guys, and then you got so many other great stars in this game. It's going to be an absolute blast. We're doing it at BMO Stadium, which is where the Olympics will be played for LA 28 for flag football. Hopefully, I think the stadium is going to be packed. You can still get some tickets at the Ticketmaster, who's coordinating this for us, and the Fanatics Flag Football. If you just Google that, take it right there. So we want everyone out there to see it live, see if the smack talk's going to be as good as I think it's going to be. But, right after Brady was hitting those records with Jimmy Fallon, he called and said, man, I can still kill any of these youngsters. And what I've heard is, he said, I like beating Heisman Trophy winners. I do that. That's like easy, light work for me. And, I was with Joe Burrow in Vegas last weekend. He said, Tom just came up to me and literally said, he's going to kill me. He said, I've been thinking about that. I said, you're thinking about that? So Joe's like, I'm killing him. So there's going to be some serious competition going on out here. So I can't wait to see it.
Well, that kind of leads me to a legitimate question, which is, do you think Brady if he plays the way he believes, and I think we believe he's going to play on Saturday, might seriously consider trying to play for the U.S. Olympic team in 2028 in flag football?
Look, I don't want to speak for Tom. What I could tell you is I believe that today he'd be a top quarterback in the NFL if he wanted to play. I see him practice. He's been sending me videos. He's still at an elite level. He's in great shape. Even though I try to do things to course him to not be in great shape, you can't break Tom Brady. You know, I try to put some desserts in front of him, try to do some other things to be bad. He's not breakable.
All right, Michael, look, with all due respect to Team USA, I got to be honest, I don't want to see them out there beating some of our best NFL players. Now, I don't know how much of them you've seen, Team USA, but do they really have a shot to go out there and beat a team led by Tom Brady or Joe Burrow or whoever?
By the way, think about the 4 quarterbacks you have. You have Tom Brady and Jalen Hurts, who've won 8 Super Bowls together, leading one team. Joe Burrow and Jaden Daniels, who are incredible quarterbacks, future of the NFL, leading another team. But I'm going to tell you something crazy, and I shouldn't put this out, but I was just talking to the CEO of our Fanatics sports betting business. He said the preliminary lines, he thinks that USA flag football would be about a 6-point favorite over the 2 primarily NFL-based teams.
Wow.
I was like, what?
Right.
So I didn't believe it, but my betting the game business just told me a couple hours ago they think that the lines are going to be that the USA flag football team will be a 6-point favorite, give or take, over the 2 primarily NFL-based teams. Now, of course, I called Brady right away, talked a lot of smack, and he told me the guys have no shot. It's the dumbest thing he's ever heard. He said he hoped that our sportsbook went bankrupt.
Look, I'm going to support Tom Brady through thick and thin. I'm riding with Team USA football. I think it's play calling. I think it's plays. Man. I think it's the linebackers and defense. Myles Garrett, Derwin James, Kuechly, Tyron, Von Miller, and Jalen Ramsey. I don't know how many flags they've pulled. I'm just saying, pulling flags is an art in moving around.
Let me just say this. I know there's going to be a big practice tomorrow morning, a big practice on Friday. They're going to make sure they know how to pull flags. But let me ask you guys a question, because I want to put you guys on record right now. Each one of you guys, who's winning? Like, let's make the picks right now.
Brady's team.
Get around this.
I'm taking Brady. Is Brady? We don't know.
We don't know who else on the team.
Brady is going to have Gronk. Here's what I'm
saying.
Brady
has to have Gronk.
If Brady has Gronk, they're winning. Gronk is motivated.
No chance that tonight, Brady. The draft is tonight at 7:30 PST, 10:30 EST. I think you're going to be able to watch it live on the Fanatics YouTube channel. You're going to be able to watch it live on the NFL's YouTube channel. It's going to be all over social. If there's one thing to say, there's no chance that Brady's not picking Gronk on his team.
And
by the way, Gronk may not be as good a shape as he used to be, but that's a big dude, and he knows how Brady throws that ball up. I don't see how Gronk's not catching it. Jaden
Daniels and Joe Burrow, my first pick, Gronk.
Oh, you mean just screw up?
Just
right. What? And then Brady has to go to Devontae
So
Smith.
I'm going with Brady's team. Wilds is going with the 5-7 flag football.
I like Doucette. The Doucette. Okay. Do we have video of the Doucette?
They better not.
All right, so you got Team USA. I got you.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm going with Jaden and Joe Burrow.
Wow.
Jaden Daniels, Joe Burrow.
Jaden Daniels.
Here's what I see about you guys. You're a great team. You're going to make sure somebody's right.
Wins.
I got that.
Yeah,
that's
right.
All right, the draft is tonight. The game is on Sunday. It's 4 o'clock, or excuse me, Saturday on 4 o'clock. Draft is tonight. Game is on Saturday, 4 p.m. Check it out.
Saturday, 4 p.m.
And one of us will be right. No, it's all good. Michael, have a great weekend. Have a great draft. Thank you very much for everything. And also, hey, shout out for Fanatics sending the USA hockey jerseys to Team USA Baseball.
That was sick.
I thought that was
great.
Wonderful.
I loved every minute of it until we didn't get the right outcome last night.
It's still cool.
I could not have been rooting for Team USA harder, but I heard we have deals with both Jack Hughes and PCA, and they're each friendly with each other. They're exclusive Fanatics partners, and we're also the exclusive partner for all the team, USA, for the USA hockey team for their merchandise. So I know that they brought the jerseys to us in the Florida facility. We quickly got, I think it was like 36 jerseys to the guys to wear. They were all game use jerseys.
That was cool.
And the only thing was I wanted them holding the gold medals.
It was still a cool moment of camaraderie, so it was great.
Incredible.
All right, Flag Football Classic
you,
Saturday at 4 on Fox. Thank you, Michael.
Thanks, Mike.
Thanks, guys.
Yep.
I have created the most advanced AI soldier.
The wait is over. Tron Ares now streaming on Disney+.
We are looking for something you've discovered. And some of us will stop at nothing to get it.
Ready?
The countdown is complete.
There's no going back.
Our directive is clear.
Hang on!
Tron Ares now streaming on Disney+. Rated PG-13.
Live from New York. It's a show that believes in Team USA. Hockey, baseball, flag football.
If they beat these NFL players, that would be
non-Tom Brady.
All the American NFL, all of the NFL players playing the flag football thing are American as well.
But they're not on Team USA.
But they might be in 2028.
Then I will root for that team.
You
I
just
root
like
for the
Doucette
Stars.
kid.
Yeah, I root for the Stars and Stripes.
Okay.
And also, when he does the little dip and all of a sudden he's like
Brady to
duck walking.
Gronk is going to work.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah, well, you're picking against.
Second hour, first things first. Today, we deliver our March Madness picks. Meanwhile, World Cup Wednesday, it's our debut. We got our roster. What's the biggest takeaway as we get ready for our friendlies against Belgium and Portugal? Well, let me get you caught up to speed on what's been going on last night in the NBA. Last night, while desperately trying to stay awake from a delayed jet lag from working hard, an elite committee of analysts, savants, and flag football experts fought and toiled and burned the midnight oil to deliver the best segment in all of sports television. It's an honor and a privilege. It's time for NBA Tears.
Thank you so much, Kevin Wildes, for the great introduction. Oddly, not dripping with sarcasm or personal shots.
No, I decided to change my tune.
Thank you, buddy.
You were out there working hard.
Exactly right. I appreciate it. I'm glad you finally recognized that. Unfortunately, I have some sad news. For the first time in a while, we have some fresh eliminations.
Oh.
And it's quite a few.
Oh.
Because 10 teams are no longer trying. It's a third of the league. Can we reveal the eliminations? The Bucks, who the story there is, they've said to Giannis, can you not come back from the injury? And Giannis like, I'm coming back, whether you like it or not. Can't get rid of me that easy.
He's the only one trying on the whole team.
The Bulls have been eliminated. The Grizzlies have been eliminated. The Mavs have been eliminated. Kings, Pacers, Nets, Wizards, Pelicans, Jazz were eliminated opening night.
The Bean was a big deal.
He's so big on the Bean.
The Knick, it was a big deal for
It
me.
was a big deal, and they were going to beat the Warriors, and then De'Aaron Fox broke his finger, and then I shed a tear on the air, and then they traded him away, and they haven't been the same since then. Time for the tears. Once again, cancel the play. Here's what I mean, and I'm being serious on this. Play-in should not exist if you're below 500. If you're below 500, you shouldn't get an extra chance to make the playoffs. They'll never have it in the East. Well, no, in the East this year, everyone's above 500.
Yeah.
Like, so.
Hornets are 35, 34.
Yeah.
I do like the Hornets.
But the Warriors, and we don't need, like, the Suns and the Clippers are legitimate playoff teams. The Warriors and the Blazers are not. And the fact that one of those two teams is going to have a one-game sample against one of the other two teams to make the playoffs, I'm just not a huge... In certain years, it can make sense, but I don't think you need it if the teams are below 500. That's all I would say. It's an added wrinkle.
Don't hate
I
it.
think's fair.
It's not bad. Yeah, I don't hate it.
Fire up NBA TV. I don't know which of these teams are going to be in the playoffs. Whichever ones they are, I know where their games are going to be. I know exactly.
Is that on at 2 o'clock?
I know where you can find Jalen Johnson and the Hawks, or Scotty Barnes and the Raptors, or top 10 player Bam Adebayo and the Heat.
Like one of those high school cameras, just a fisheye lens, no cuts.
I just know where we're going to be able to watch those games. It's hard these days. You don't know, is it on Peacock? Is it on Prime? What's on? Those are going to be on NBA TV. One can hope. You can hope that if the Hornets get in, that this team, they've cooled a bit as of late, but the team they showed they could be for a couple months might throw a scare in one of the top East seeds.
Yeah.
And you can hope, hey, there's usually about 4 weeks a season, Brew, where the Sixers are fully healthy. What if those 4 weeks are
4? That's gonna lie.
What if those? All right, 2 weeks.
Very
what
dangerous.
if that? Right. What if all the health lines up? I wouldn't want to play that team. And Embiid's going to be rested come the playoffs. Listen,
That's
one can
for
hope.
sure.
No easy outs. That's for the top teams in the West. Thunder, Spurs. You both won 60 games. I think they're going to. Thunder certainly. You've basically locked up a top 2 seed 2 months ago. Congratulations. You play in the first round against a Clippers team that after the 6-8, 21 start has been sensational.
Yeah.
And Kawhi's playing the best basketball he's played in his 30s. Or a Suns team that has Devin Booker humming and might at that point have Dylan Brooks back. Again, I think the Spurs and Thunder will win their first round series no matter who they're playing, but it's not, I don't think those are sweeps. I don't think those are easy, just show up for a quarter series. We've seen this movie. A Rockets team that just can't get over the hump, a Timberwolves team that's good but not quite good enough, or a Cavs team that has no real shot of making the finals unless LeBron James is on the team. Yeah, we've seen this movie. And sadly, it's where I think we are with all 3 of these teams again. The Timberwolves were the one team on this line that I had the most faith in, but now we find out Anthony Edwards, not that he's going to be back in 1 to 2 weeks, reevaluated in 1 to 2 weeks, which is basically assigns them the 6th seed. Now, maybe you might say, okay, well, if the Lakers are the 3, they're the 6, they beat them last year. Lakers are 3-0 against them this year. I don't think that would be great for them. I don't think they have to worry about falling to the 7, but still not ideal. Quietly lurking, Knicks and Nuggets. Here would be the argument for the Knicks and the Nuggets. They both knew pretty early this year, all right, we're not going to end up being the number 1 seed in our conference, and our season's going to be defined by how we do in the playoffs, and they just haven't fully locked in. Because we know the Nuggets are championship caliber in theory. Now, I know they're not the exact same team that won the championship, but same 3 best players. And I know it's a new head coach, but their head coach was on that staff. And the Knicks have been building to this moment really the last 3 years, certainly the last 2 years. And I wouldn't be thrilled to see them on the other side of my playoff series, but they also haven't been, it's hard to find 2 months for this season where like, man, that team looks like the team's going to win the title. Obvious flaws, but maybe the Lakers' obvious flaw is, are they really going to be able to defend well enough? Marcus Smart's doing his best. LeBron's doing better. I just read an article today about how actually Luka's defense is improved.
I think he's second on the team.
As you like to say, there you go. That's
trade.
You know, when you look at the really advanced, Luka's
better be really
good.
And the Pistons, other than Cade Cunningham, can anyone just get their own shot, get a bucket? But maybe. The Pistons are going to be the 1 seed. The Lakers do have Luka Doncic and a top 2 all-time player as their 3rd best guy. So maybe. Reservations for June. The thing I am most certain about in the NBA at this moment for this season is that the Celtics are making the finals.
Wow.
I'm more confident about that than any other individual playoff prediction. Now, are they going to win the championship? They're my pick, but they're going to be an underdog in the finals unless there's a major upset in the West. I understand that, but I just don't see who in the East, if we assume Tatum's only going to get better from where he's at right now, and if you just guaranteed me Tatum's going to be where he's at right now, I think they'd be the favorite. The Celtics, as presently constituted, are the favorite, but that's maybe incorporating.
I still don't know why they can beat the Knicks. We just saw it with a healthy Tatum. most of the
Yeah.
time. They were going to win that series.
The Knicks?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, that was,
They were
listen,
3-1.
and I picked the Knicks, if you remember, to win that series. I just think they're different teams. I think Jaylen Brown is better this year. I think the Celtics role players are better. I think Mikal Bridges is sneaky way worse. At least he's in a slump right now. But so, we'll get to that later. And then atop the tiers, 2 teams with a question. Is this our next great rivalry?
Oh.
Thunder Spurs. Is this what the rest of the decade's going to be about? The Thunder and the Spurs. Wemby and Shea. Those great organizations, the great supporting cast, all the draft capital both of those teams still have. The assets, the youth. Is this just going to be a back and forth atop the West where we end up feeling like the Western Conference Finals are a de facto NBA Finals? Maybe. Or maybe one of them gets upset early in these playoffs and we don't even get it this year. But that's the question I have, and those, Brew,
Pretty good tiers.
are the latest tiers.
They are pretty good. And to answer to your question at the top, I do think that's clearly the next great rivalry in the league. I think that will be the Kobe Shaq Lakers versus the Duncan Spurs, where every year they were going at it. The Lakers broke up early. So I think, because Kobe and Shaq, so I think this will be obviously a lot longer. Both teams are incredibly young. Yeah, I mean, this is going to be great. But I guess I would say it's unfortunate they're in the same conference, but maybe not. We'll just get those in the Western Conference.
You mentioned they broke up early, but despite that, Brew, those 2 teams won 5 consecutive championships.
Yeah.
The Spurs won in 99 and 03, and the Lakers won the middle
Right in
3.
between, yeah.
And so it's, and won 6 of 7.
The thing about the Spurs is one of the question marks, obviously there's the inexperience, but their three-point shooting was a question mark. They have improved it this calendar year. January was only 32%, February was 37%, and March is 39%. If they're hitting threes, it's going to be very tough. Literally, the only question is inexperience, and that's a legit question. We'll see if that fails them. I am Nick. I like the tiers, but I'm going to put the Knicks and the Nuggets on the tier above, alongside the Lakers and the Pistons. Look, if the Lakers and the Nuggets meet, if they're to meet in the playoffs, that's going to be a tough series to pick. I might pick the Nuggets. I'm not sure. But the Nuggets, look, Aaron Gordon is back. He's only been back 5 games, but he's hitting 40% from 3. All right, so we know he's going to get better as he's healthier. I see y'all eyeing each other. What is going on?
That's a fireable. We gotta let somebody go. We have to let somebody go.
It's the bar. Here's a nugget. I'm nixing Nick's spot.
So someone's got to go.
Y'all know that's not me.
We got to let somebody go.
You know that's not me.
I'm sorry.
I had no idea.
And is the bottom line bold?
Move to New York.
It distracts from Brew's otherwise great.
The audience knows who it is, too.
It's Hubs.
No, that's Dusty.
No, Hubs does the puns. What? Hubs going to get in my ear and say some pun.
That's bad.
All right,
whatever
Brew,
it is.
Sorry, I'm focused
Go ahead,
now.
Brew.
I'm done. I don't even want to know. Look, the Aaron Gordon, I think, is going to just keep getting better.
That's true.
Have you seen him from 3? I mean,
it's unbelievable.
Yeah, it really
is
is
a
incredible.
reinvention of a player. Because that used to be the thing that was worse.
Yes.
And now
he's almost automatic from that corner.
Wild guy Peyton Watson should be back.
He'll be back in a week.
Yeah.
So I think the Nuggets are going to get better. The Knicks, look, Knicks are 5-3, Nick, against OKC, San Antonio, the Lakers, and Denver. I didn't put Boston in because now they got Tatum back, so it's different.
But if the Knicks, that says if the Knicks were to make the finals,
they've played well against the Western teams. They really have. And I like you said, Wiles, they beat that Celtics team. Like, I'm not saying that they would definitely beat them this year, because sometimes
it's different. Yeah.
But they
fair.
certainly have a shot.
I think
the Knicks' kryptonite is Detroit, and right now they would play Boston in the second round and be able to avoid Detroit until the conference finals. Or maybe Cleveland could, in their eyes, they'd hope Cleveland could knock out Detroit.
I think the Knicks are the only team to beat Wemby in the last month and a half. Because aren't the Spurs 20-2 in their last 22?
Yeah.
And one of those losses came without Wemby, and the other one was a game I was at MSG against the Knicks. So like
they beat them 2 out of 3.
Yeah. So that is something.
They played
what did Hub say in your ear?
He hasn't come up with it yet. I don't know if he's putting stuff in a square cardboard box.
Okay.
Hubs, that's just way too much. I thought that was Dustin.
Who do you have in the West?
He hasn't decided.
In pencil.
In pencil.
In
pencil. I'm hoping for the Spurs. And I look, obviously I've covered this league for decades. I have seen seasons where regular season, a team swept another team, met them in the playoffs, and lost.
Yeah.
Like, so you can't always go by
He's
that.
the GOAT, dude.
Yeah.
But I have that graphic.
I'm hoping for
oh,
really?
I have that graphic.
Wow. Okay, I had no idea.
Because I also am hoping for the Spurs, but I don't think you really believe in the Spurs. And you guys have tagged me with like, oh, Wilds, you're a fool.
No, we tagged
You're a clown.
No.
You only pick repeat champions.
You
picked the defending champs, even though in football the Chiefs keep on winning.
Okay, see?
It's not my fault, is what I'm saying.
We haven't had a repeat champion in 7 years.
This is unbelievable.
We're due.
We are due.
Here's a sign of a good franchise. If you're like McDonald's, it's good franchise. Burger King, you can go to Bangor, Maine, and then you can go to San Diego, California, order a Big Mac, tastes exactly the same. The standard and the quality of the franchise travels. Here's OKC's defense this year and last year. Exact same.
That's unbelievable.
Defensive rating 107.5. Opponent field goal percentage 43.6. Championship year 43.5. Actually got better.
Yeah.
Defensive rebounds per game 34.2, 34.5. They get a third more of a rebound somehow.
Yeah.
Just basically, I think it's a tip.
Get their hand on the ball.
Then it's the actuallys. Actually, they've been losing to, good teams. That was before the All-Star break. And I think this lends itself to the, let's lock in theory. Long season, 173 wins was out the window. Maybe they took their foot off the gas. A lot of those are obviously Spurs losses. 9-8 before All-Star break, 8-1 after the All-Star break. And Brew, this is your Spurs graphic. They haven't had a good time against the Spurs. They're 1-4 against San Antonio. But last year, the Knicks were 0-4 against the Celtics. They won. The Wolves were 0-3 against Phoenix. They won 4-0. Josh was kind of cherry picking some other stuff. The Dame's famous bad shot, according to Paul George. What were they, 0-3 against?
OKC.
OKC Blazers. So there's a few of those in history, and Brew mentioned it just off the top of his head. I had to do a half hour's worth of research. So I think Thunder are going to repeat. But I don't know if I should throw my all support. So you guys, am I like a Thunder guy? Should I start buying Thunder stuff?
Well, you are a Thunder guy because of Chet. Yeah. That's first of all.
Chet.
You're also a Thunder guy because you like dirty play across sports. You're always, you think it's fine in general.
Once Brew called pitch framing deception.
Is it not? That's exactly what it is.
So is a pump fake.
It's not the same thing. It's not the same thing.
All right.
So, breaking news, America.
Breaking news.
For the 5th straight year, Kevin Wilds thinks the NBA team that won the last championship is going to win the next championship.
I'm just following the data.
They've lost. Every single one of those teams has lost in round 2.
The world moves fast. Your workday, even faster. Pitching products, drafting reports, analyzing data. Microsoft 365 Copilot is your AI assistant for work. Built into Word, Excel, PowerPoint, and other Microsoft 365 apps you use. Helping you quickly write, analyze, create, and summarize. So you can cut through clutter and clear a path to your best work. Learn more at Microsoft.com/M365 Copilot.
Dos strikes, dos outs con ventaja en una carrera. ¡Siéntate! ¡Gana Venezuela! Venezuela conquista el mundo del béisbol. Por primera vez. Ganan el Clásico Mundial.
Sal, you've done it all, right? You're one of the greatest catchers ever. You've won a World Series. Compare what this feels like right now.
Oh, my God. That's unbelievable. I'm super happy. And now I feel like I can retire.
It's a great moment.
So I was in Kansas City when Salvi came up for the Royals, and he was instantly really good. And listen, a lot of baseball players from, America or otherwise come from very humble beginnings. Salvi came from Dickensian humble beginnings almost in Venezuela. And he signed one of the most under-market contracts imaginable, like a 7-year deal to lift his mother out of poverty and his friend and family. And he then went on to become one of the greatest players in the history of the team. They then gave him, he's made a bunch of money post that, but took him a long time. And is just one of my favorite athletes ever, and I believe a legitimate Hall of Famer now. Like, if he wasn't already, I don't know how much technically the World Baseball Classic is supposed to count, but I think it counts. I think when the voters it's human beings that are filling it out, and he's just a legendary player for, like the point you made yesterday is historically somewhat true. The best Royals very often are Royals for a bit and then leave. He didn't and he won't. Yeah. Like, he'll be a lifetime one-team guy, and I'm so happy for him. So happy for him.
That's great.
Yeah,
it would be nice to see him, That's a great
Played in 2 World Series in Kansas City.
I know, but maybe get one more.
Yeah, maybe this year with the Royals and WBC MVP Michael Garcia. Exactly right. They were all over.
That was true.
Yes.
Yeah. Afternoon headline sponsored by Ram Trucks, built to serve less than 20 hours away from the tournament tipping off. Ohio State 8 seed, number 9 TSU or TCU. I don't know what I'm talking about. Final Four is on April 4th. That works. Time to make our calls for the Final Four. Nick, you want to kick us off?
Yes. My Final Four is St. John's, off the strength of the greatest modern era college basketball coach of all time. The University of Houston, 6 straight Sweet 16s. In that stretch, they've been to the Elite 8. They've been to a Final Four. They've been to a national championship game and lost. The only thing they haven't done is finish the job. Last year, they were a possession away from winning it. Arizona's been the best team all year. They've lost twice. Once was a road game in Allen Fieldhouse, one of the hardest places to win. And then the very next game in overtime, Texas Tech. And Michigan, who their biggest competition in their region is Alabama. Alabama, is going through it a bit right now.
Trendy upset alert, remember?
What do you mean?
I've got Hofstra over Alabama.
Oh, I like that. Listen,
That's
I think
interesting now.
I'm starting to develop, I've got a working theory. I don't know if Nate Oates runs the tightest ship down at Alabama. So I think we might have to look into it. But I've got...
He's just trying to get ballers, man, no matter what.
I've got I've got Houston, playing Arizona in the national championship. And Kelvin Sampson and Houston finally break through. And Kelvin Sampson and Houston are the national champions.
It'd be nice if they won one.
Yes, absolutely. It'd be nice. Kelvin deserves it. It would cement him as a Hall of Famer if he's not already. And so, yeah.
All right. My Final Four. I've got Duke. I almost went with Kansas.
I'm the Duke guy. I've been on Duke
so
all
I can't
year.
pick him for the Final Four?
To go to the Final Four? KW,
I've been on Duke all year, and you know it.
A lot of people are going to pick Duke to go to the Final Four.
I was early on it.
They really come out of nowhere, right?
But I said it first. I'm just saying I said it first.
So what?
Because they're my squad.
Duke is making the Final Four. I picked them last year to win it all, and they didn't. So I got Duke in the Final Four. I almost went with Kansas. Darren Peterson been playing consistently lately, but I just don't know if the chemistry will be there enough for them to get out of that region. I do have Houston, as you see. I talked about them the other day. The freshman Fleming at the point guard, their defense is spectacular. Arizona in the West, and they've had a great year. There's no question about it. So I think they can get out of there. And then Michigan, with their size, I think is going to be a lot to deal with. Now, let me take people behind the curtain.
Yes, please.
Because a lot of people think in shows like this that we just automatically pick different teams. Like, oh, Knicks got them, so let me take so-and-so.
No, obviously
not.
not.
Oh, I can't pick the Chiefs because he's picking the Chiefs. No. We pick who we think is going to win.
Oh, I hope.
Regardless of whether your partner, your co-host.
Okay, hold on one second, please. You already just got roasted by me and the internet, Gianna said, for taking Duke to the Final Four when they were my squad.
The internet tackling.
If you were about to do what I think you're about to do, you still have time to change your mind. Don't do it. Then we have nothing to talk about.
Brew, I want the honest truth. Give it. All you owe us is your opinion.
Houston is winning the tournament.
I'm with. Good job,
All
Brew.
right,
I like
Houston is winning the tournament.
I love that, Brew.
I'm with you. Kelvin Sampson is a great coach. Been to 3 Final Fours,
Yes.
1 with Oklahoma, 2 with Houston.
Yes.
It's time. I think he's going to seal the deal this year and win the championship.
It feels, here's the thing, it feels a little bit to me. I know I'm mixing metaphors here. Ray Allen hits the shot against San Antonio, Game 6.
Yep.
They then lose in Game 7. A lot of people, myself and I think many others felt like that's going to ruin them for next year. You can't be that close to a championship, have it ripped away, and instead they came back, had the exact same finals matchup, and
wanted that finals matchup.
And crushed Miami. Houston came about as close as you can come to winning a championship without. 3 of those 5 starters are back. You keep mentioning Kingston Fleming's correct, and then you add the freshman. So
I totally agree.
Yeah, so
I
that
think
is
this is their year.
Yeah.
You really thought I was going to go with Duke. Now how you feel? You probably want to switch to Houston.
No, I could tell that you were going to go to Houston. I didn't pick
You thought I was going to go Duke.
No, I knew you weren't going to go Duke. You haven't been on Duke all year. I have.
I have Duke losing in the Sweet 16 to St. John's.
So the problem is, Dusty, you want to reveal mine there? I have Duke, but I really like that region. That's why I don't have UConn going. Region. I don't have St. John. I really like St. John's. I really like Michigan State. But as everyone knows, I've been on Duke all year.
Yep.
Even preseason, I was on Duke. I went to the Duke game last year. I said, even though Cooper Flag and Malwatch and Concanippo are leaving, I still like this squad.
Yeah.
Coming out, the margin of victory, 19 points, which I like really beating teams. Coming out of South, Illinois.
I don't hate that pick.
I'll be honest with you. A lot of this is just awareness bias from me. Because my in-laws went to Illinois. We go visit them. Illinois is on a lot. And turns out, I like
They got
this
a
team.
nice freshman.
No, they have Wagner's good, and Stojakovic is good. They can score, they can play defense, they're big.
And
I like
the South inarguably has the weakest 1 seed. Like Florida was a 7-loss 1 seed, and so that's where Brew and I have Houston coming out of, but that feels more open, so to speak, than the other.
Then I've got Arkansas coming out of the West. Acuff had 30 against Vanderbilt. He had 49 against Alabama, who I have leaving the tournament
I hope
early.
you're right about this one. Because I thought about Arkansas, but Acuff is just fun to watch, and he's a
Can he win a few games on his own
and
with a
Coach
great
Cal.
coach?
Yeah, right, exactly.
In Michigan, I'll go with you. That's mostly a Parkins pick. I'm like, if Parkins really likes Michigan, he was great making predictions all through
I'm the
football.
Michigan guy. I paid them a lot of money.
I know, but Parkins'
over 4 years.
picks have been excellent.
He
and
lost
Parkins,
this year, for the record, he lost. Don't.
Parkins has Michigan, and I'm like, well, Parkins.
So we all.
he
so that's
delivered
what's
in the
crazy.
playoffs. That's what
chill,
Parkins
bro. We all have Michigan.
We all got them in the final.
Yeah, I don't like any other squad there.
I'm just saying that's the only
one. We all have.
You and Brew both have Duke. Brew and I both have Houston. And then we all have Michigan. We
obviously have Duke.
You
don't have to ask me for a winner. I've been saying Duke all along. I've been on Duke for ages.
It's been a while since they're due. How about that?
We believe in due dates, or
Duke
at least we used to.
Duke is due. Houston's due.
Coming up next, World Cup Wednesday roster reveal, 27-man roster. What does that mean for our friendlies coming up? We discuss next. Oh, and Nick has gifts for us. We are counting down the 100 best World Cup moments of all time. We're 85 days away from the World Cup, so here's moment number 85.
One man made sure the world would remember Bulgaria. 1994 World Cup. Hristo Stoichkov was unstoppable. After upsetting Argentina, the Barcelona star sent Bulgaria to the knockout round. Round of 16 against Mexico. Stoichkov strikes first, and Bulgaria advances on penalties. Next, defending champions Germany. Trailing 1-0 in the 75th minute, Stoichkov equalizes. 3 minutes later, Bulgaria sealed the win. In the semifinals versus Italy, despite his 6th World Cup goal, Bulgaria's run ends. Golden Boot, 4th place, Ballon d'Or the same year. 1994 wasn't a breakout. It was Stoichkov at his peak.
Pretty good. 85 days until the World Cup kicks off on Fox and right here on FS1. And feels like Christmas came early because
I've got
Nick
something
says he
pretty
has
cool.
gifts.
Oh, wow.
Well, so let me, this is
awesome.
I mean, this is a gift to myself, I guess, and then I'll give you your guys. This just to show everyone. This right here, if I open it up,
ooh,
and then go through here, this amazing box.
Your
am
own
I doing it
jersey?
right? Hold on, there we
you
go.
see that?
Yeah, so hold on.
Oh, that is sweet.
So an official Team USA, I'm not good at this.
Oh, it's got, I didn't realize it had stars on it.
Stars on it,
I
looks
saw
awesome.
Oh, that's
the
sweet.
box is unbelievable. It's the presentation, so Broom.
I got one.
There's yours. And
sweet.
KW, there you go.
No box. Oh, I got the box too.
Yeah,
dude.
you
You're
got
right.
it says Broussard, which is
Broussard
like
on the
Smith
back.
in the Bayou.
That's right.
KW, you got. There it is.
Is this?
Yeah.
Where is the box?
Yeah, you didn't get one, but you got the jersey.
It's a great jersey.
Yes.
It is. Sweet.
Yeah.
All right, it's World Cup Wednesday.
Yes.
We're going to be, every Wednesday, we'll have a soccer guest talk World Cup. Joining us now, Mo Edu. Mo, welcome to the show. Welcome to the premiere of World Cup Wednesday. Thanks for joining us. We have the cut down 27-man roster. Some guys I obviously expect to be on the team, so no big surprises. What was your number one takeaway from the cut down?
First of all, good to see you guys, and I mean those jerseys are looking clean.
Yeah,
I must
thank you.
say.
These are nice.
Right?
Nice to have a box, but
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah, they did you dirty there. I'm not gonna lie, but when it comes to the roster, I think everyone's talking about Gio Reyna's inclusion, Johnny Cardoso, but I'm gonna go a different direction. Anthony Robinson is back in the fold. He's been out from the national team. I think his last game was the end of 2024 Nations League game back in November. He's been struggling with injuries, but beyond Christian, beyond Tyler Adams, beyond Weston McKennie, in my mind, Anthony Robinson is one of the first names on the team sheet. So it's good to have him back on the roster, back fit, back playing for his club team, and excited to have him being a part of this squad looking towards the World Cup.
Mo, of the guys who were not included on the roster because of injury, who sticks out to you as someone you would be shocked if they're not actually on the official roster?
All right, so the guys who aren't there, Tyler Adams, Haji Wright, Serginho Dest, Diego Luna. To me, out of that bunch, Tyler Adams. Okay. He wore the captain's armband for our national team in the last World Cup. To me, Tyler just brings a skill set, a leadership qualities that are just hard to replace. So I would be shocked if Tyler Adams is not on the roster.
Do you think Diego will make it? Because he felt like during some of the exhibitions or in the lead up that he was becoming a fan favorite, that he maybe had earned his way on. Do you think he'll make it?
Diego's a close one for me. I'm not gonna lie to you, man, because you're right. Diego has this kind of like cult following. He's got this real personality that he plays with, this swagger he plays with that everyone can buy into, and he won over Pochettino during the last Gold Cup. Where it becomes tricky for him is guys like Gio are being included, Malik Tillman's in the squad, Christian obviously, Tim Weah can play in that position. He started off this season in MLS with an injury, and that's part of the reason why he's not in this camp. A part of me feels like he's on the outside looking in, but the fact that he impressed Pochettino during the Gold Cup has earned him some cachet, but he's on the outside looking in my opinion, right now.
Okay.
So, Maurice, Poach wants to treat these upcoming friendlies like they're real World Cup games. How important are these 4 games for the national team?
these 4 games, these 4 friendlies is what we call them, friendlies. But in all honesty, when you're a host nation, you don't play World Cup qualifiers. So we didn't play any qualifying games, which are so vital because in those games, guys, that's when you gel as a team. You go through the ups and downs. You go through difficult games in away stadiums and really intense and trying atmospheres. We didn't get to experience that. So we've had to play a series of friendlies. But these final 4 games, 3 of the games are against top 10 ranked teams in Germany, in Belgium, in Portugal. And then the final game is against the 12th ranked Senegalese team who I still consider them the AFCON champions, although it's been taken away in recent days.
Right.
But the other part, too, that's pretty interesting, we're playing Belgium. I was doing like a little mock bracket for the World Cup. If everything plays out the way that I think it plays out, USA winning our group, Belgium winning their group, that's a potential matchup for us in the round of 16.
Oh, that's interesting.
My favorite team cut down scene in all of movies is Miracle, and Herb Brooks is trying to make the 1980 hockey team, right? 80 or 84? Jeez,
80. Oh, my
Gee
God.
whiz,
The
sorry.
Miracle on Ice year?
Sorry, 80. Edit that out.
My God.
Just making sure.
1980. Wow.
1980, I'm sorry.
My goodness.
That being said, it's still my favorite.
Is it though?
Yes, it is. So, Mo, the famous scene is like Herb Brooks says, I'm not trying to take the best players, I'm trying to make the best team. Is that what you think Pooch is trying to do here? Are you just taking the best players for the cut down, or is he trying to get a personality for this team? And what guys would be on the edge either way?
Yeah, for Pochettino, you can't just take the best players because the best players don't always necessarily make the best teams. You need the best group of guys that complement each other, that have that cohesion, that have some of them that have been battle tested together, that have gone through tough moments together. But ultimately, you want a group that's healthy, that's competitive, that's all working towards the same goal. And I mean, we saw that in the last World Cup where there were some harsh decisions toward the end, some really unpredictable decisions that we didn't see coming. But ultimately, I think they were made with the idea that this is going to be what's best for the group. Pochettino, he's in a similar situation. He was just asked that question the other day, and that was his answer. So you're spot on. His answer was, yes, I'm picking the best team and not necessarily just the best players.
So speaking of best players, I mean, Pulisic on fire first half of the season for AC Milan, has come back from injury and now has, hadn't had an assist or a goal in like his last 11 games. You think there's any reason for concern?
Man, Pulisic. Ay. Of course, there's always going to be room for concern when your best player is not scoring goal. That being said, Christian's still playing. Christian's still creating chances. Maybe he hasn't been as clinical as we're used to seeing. But when this kid puts on the red, white, and blue, he's a guy that I never have concern about. His effort, the leadership he brings through his play, as well as the respect that he has amongst his teammates. He's a guy that I think this couple games that are coming up against Belgium and Portugal could actually be really valuable for him. A chance for him to get on the score sheet. If he scores in either of those two games, he goes back into his club with a little bit more confidence, maybe a clinical edge again. And the other part to that, fellas, is that I would rather him have this little, if we're going to call it a drought, I'd rather him have that now, January,
Right.
February, March, and then finish off strong in April and May leading up into the World Cup.
Nice. Well, Mo, thank you very much. We'll check back in with you on our next World Cup Wednesday. We've got these friendlies coming up in 85 days to the World Cup kicks off on Fox and FS1. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Mo.
Thanks, Mo.
Appreciate you, fellas. Good seeing you.
Yeah,
More first things first after the break. Live from New York, first things first, overtime today. How will you remember the World Baseball Classic all-time tournament that got to another level we discussed? Meanwhile, Danny, a fresh episode of Pack Stats, making stats cool, featuring an outfit change, a leather jacket that he's going to put on himself. Believe it or not, he doesn't put it on himself. And finally, Jared
That's how cool it is.
joins the show to talk the Vikings. That's exciting.
Yeah, and Maxx Crosby is fired up to talk about it.
Maxx Crosby's on the show?
No. Jared Allen talking about Maxx Crosby, like one great pass rusher.
Still
talking
great,
about
though.
another.
Still a good get.
No, Maxx Crosby would be big news.
It'd be sick if we got Maxx Crosby. Josh, do you know Maxx? Call Maxx Crosby. See if he wants to be on the show. He has that podcast.
That'd be great if he came in.
One-upping Jared Allen.
Yeah. No, Maxx Crosby would like Jared Allen's a Hall of Famer.
That's true.
Maxx Crosby's not a Hall of Famer yet.
Not yet.
Maxx Crosby
Is Maxx Crosby going to the Hall of Fame?
No, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Jared Allen
Maybe
is in
eventually,
the Hall of
not
Fame.
yet.
Well, I know he's not yet. He's active.
You got away with
I mean,
5
there
years.
are some active players that are definite Hall of
Yes.
Famers.
Like Myles Garrett, who you think's overrated.
I don't think he's overrated. I'd like to see him play in big
Ask
games.
Jared
all
Allen
guys
about
with a
Wilds'
lot of
take
sacks are
that
overrated.
pass rushers actually aren't important.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. The best pass rushers won a combined like 9 games this year.
Yeah. See,
Maxx Crosby's
I'll
great.
bring it up.
Ask
Miles
him
Garrett's
about
great. Are they affecting is it leading to W's?
Ask him about whether, does pass rushing affect the game? Talk
No,
to
I
Jared
just
Allen
think
about
it's
that.
like a final piece. It's not your first
It's the
piece.
frosting, not the cake.
No, not necessarily. World Baseball Classic, Venezuela wins it. Entire series was electric, Danny. Ratings for attendance and TV. Final game was just magnificent. Here's Aaron Judge postgame.
Get a chance to be the captain of Team USA. You know, my job was to go out there and bring a championship, bring the gold home. We didn't do that, but there's no pressure. When you got a team like this, just go out there and do your job. And that's what I try to do every single night. And we gave ourselves a shot, but we just couldn't close it out.
What was your number one headline here, Danny?
There's a lot, because it was a really cool event that has grown into this like must-see TV spectacle. And, I've covered baseball for a long time, and more recently, I think, than any of the three of you. And so, covered Royals World Series teams, a Cubs team coming off of a World Series, and baseball's a weird game because it's 162 games. It's America's pastime. But then you see the World Baseball Classic, and it's almost like everyone else has more fun playing America's pastime. And so it's like an interesting dichotomy.
Yeah.
And Passan's column was great. I heard you reference it earlier. And I can say, in the 10 years that I've been in baseball clubhouses, it's gotten better in terms of
More fun.
More fun. I covered those Tim Anderson White Sox teams when he flipped the bat, and there were a lot of benches clearing incidents around his celebrations, and he was talking about changing the game, and Joe Buck was saying he should be the face of baseball. It's gotten better. But what I think is so striking about the World Baseball Classic is for the Latin American countries, they are openly saying, this is bigger than the World Series. This is the biggest deal. And you will not hear the players on Team USA say it. But even in the games that are more significant to them than any games they've played before, including World Series games, they're still able to do it with the joy and the celebration and the levity. So, I hope we remember this. It's impossible for us to do it in, the 15th game of the regular season in April or May. Because it's 162 games, it's a marathon, there'll be 15,000 people in the stands at some of these games. It's not realistic to get that intensity. But it would be cool if in the playoffs in October, in the biggest American games, if the tension could be laced with a little bit more of the World Baseball Classic flavor. Because that's the best version of the game. The best version of the game is actually what we see in the WBC. Them dancing, them celebrating, them leaving the dugout, them chanting. It doesn't take away from the stakes.
Yeah.
It doesn't make it feel any less serious or less significant. But there's a stuffiness, I feel like, to American baseball and Major League Baseball at times that we could really benefit from leaning even more into how the WBC conducts itself.
Well, remember a few years ago, Bryce Harper was trying to make the game more fun and all that stuff. So, yeah, they could definitely do that. Let guys celebrate. In basketball, the nature of basketball, you just are allowed to show your individualism during the game, the way it's played. Football, you can celebrate, right, in the end zone and things like that.
But now you can. That was a rule change.
Right. But defensively, but offensively, receivers and running backs would do dances in the end zone for decades. Baseball, it would be nice if they just allow that to become part of the game. I agree with you there. And I don't want to go negative because I agree, like I said earlier, this was the first World Baseball Classic that I think captivated America's imagination. Before it was not that big of a deal to us. We didn't win. Okay, whatever. Now it's a big deal. And I think going forward, it will be a huge deal. But I also think some Americans on the flip side are going to take away from it. Look, we sent our best and brightest and couldn't win. And I get it. Baseball is fickle. It's especially in a one and done situation. But still, we've won one time in 6 tries. And
it's not like we dominated every game leading up to the final.
No. I mean, we were fortunate against
we needed
Dominican
help to get out of
Republic.
group play.
Yeah.
We needed and
we lost to Italy.
Right. And then the game against the Dominican, we're on here debating a bad strike call. You know what I mean? It was that close. So we were on the precipice.
We had
multiple times.
so many of our big names, and we couldn't hit a guy that had a 5.0 ERA last year in Arizona.
Yep.
You know, so our bats going silent. I get it. It's a sport of failure. You go into slumps, but our whole team essentially went to a slump, except Bryce Harper in the last game. You know, so it was. I get it why they weren't happy with the silver medals, because we were supposed to win that, or lose to a Japan or
the
DR or something like that.
I mean So my biggest, throughout the world, I thought the biggest story was Team Italy. I thought they were it's hard to say they were the biggest story because they ended up not making it through. They lose to Venezuela. But I thought them beating the U.S., the espresso celebrations, the legit underdog. And listen, we're partial to Team Italy to a degree because Vinny Pasquantino has hosted this show with us. He's a friend of the show. He was on it. He was the captain of that team. And as cool as that was, though, that wasn't the same gravity of the Latin American nations or Japan, where those weren't a bunch of guys born and raised in Italy. It was a few guys like that, but most of the guys were like Vinny, Italian heritage, but they were Americans. The way it meant so much to particularly the Latin American nations, and I think some of the Asian nations as well, most notably Japan, was captivating in real time. But the legacy, if that word exists, of this year's World Baseball Classic is, I think, Brew, what you said at the start of the show. It's the line of demarcation of this being a major event.
Yeah.
Of this, Simmons used to write about, and I agreed with him, that he wished the Olympics and the World Cup went from 4-year cycles to 3-year cycles. That way, every year you either had the Winter Olympics, the Summer Olympics, or the World Cup. That every year there was a major international sporting event that we could look forward to. And I thought it was a great idea. I agreed with him. I'm not saying this is the Olympics, but this is now something that in 3 years, I'm excited about.
Yeah.
Like the cup, and I saw today there was a little momentum. Like, what if we moved the knockout round, the semifinals and the finals, to All-Star Week?
Yeah.
I don't like that idea. I thought this has created a launching pad for this baseball regular season, and this now is, to me, just like soccer's, the gold medal in soccer is not nearly as important as the World Cup, obviously. It feels like this is the premier international baseball competition, more so than baseball in the Olympics will be. And so I think that's the legacy of this World Baseball.
Yeah, so this is 2030 next WBC.
Oh, okay.
There was, I don't know if it was
It's
pandemic.
not 2029?
No, I don't know if it was pandemic related or why Trout versus Ohtani was 3 years ago. We are also in the prime time, before we move on to pack stats. Stats are cool. We are in a amazing time in the sports calendar, fresh off of the Olympics where we had USA fever and just caught up in that, to the World Baseball Classic where we saw the world's best baseball players play. On the heels of we're leading to the World Cup. We're just in prime time, just major events this year.
I think it's also the idea of creating something and it not catching right away. Like, if I'm Adam Silver watching this and the mid-season tournament, it's like, well, give me 15 years and then tell me what it'll look like. Like, the Four Nations.
It's already started to mean more than it did.
No question. But imagine what it can mean a decade from now. Like, Premier League fans.
Four Nations is a good example.
Like, Four Nations in hockey was a was a thing. Whether you liked hockey or not, like, it was a thing, and it outrated a ton of other hockey events. Like, you can't, there is still an appetite to create new things.
You know what's funny? I don't want to be negative either. I had the same feeling on the opposite direction about the NBA All-Star Game. That you're tinkering with all these like different formats, and it was better this year.
Right.
But no one cared as much as Venezuela, USA did last night.
Oh.
Like that All-Star games have gone away, and maybe international games are rising.
Well, which is maybe what the All-Stars game's trying to recapture by making it the international format.
Yeah.
But to your point, Danny, I think all of sports, and one of the reasons football is king of kings, is football games still feel like events, even in the regular season.
Yeah.
And I think there's a lot of smart research and data that says as people's entertainment diet has changed and the attention deficit or like the people's ability to pay attention to things has changed, what stands out are events. Even if the event is farcical, even if it's, not that this was, but even if it's Mike Tyson fighting Jake Paul, it felt like an event that people tuned in for. I think it's one of the reasons like the Indy 500 does so well, is like it is marketed as a big event. This felt like an event.
Absolutely.
And in a way that made the casual fan or the casual consumer tune in, because I think a lot of people were dialed into the last couple weeks of this that will not watch another baseball game start to finish until October. I think there's, you know what I mean? I think that there obviously diehard baseball fans were into it, but I think a lot of sports fans are like, hey, this weekend I'm watching March Madness, I'm gonna watch the NBA, I'll watch the Masters, watch the NBA playoffs. I tune in for the big stuff. This classified as a big stuff, which was great.
Danny, you see I was like calling for PCA to get in the game on Twitter?
I love that.
I was like, let's go, man.
Yeah,
Let's switch
get
it
the
up.
speed
Also,
on
if
base.
nobody can hit, again, I'm not seam head like you. But Cal Raleigh just was hanging out on the bench. The guy hit 60 home runs. The guy hit 60 home runs.
They came out with an early 2030 lineup, and he's the catcher for 2030, if it's any consolation.
Well,
to Cal Raleigh.
Yeah.
Well, he's
2030.
Gets another shot at it.
Yeah.
I have great news for you. I know you're thinking, that was a cool conversation. What else you got up your sleeve? Well, glad you asked. Leather sleeves, actually. Danny did his top 10 players and coaches who will define the tournament. There were some stats in that, but we got some cooler ones in store for you. It's time now for Pack Stats. There's the emoji. Here are the stats. Here are the gloves. Here's a leather jacket with some cool stuff. Danny, that was a cool segment you had yesterday. This one's even supposed to be more cool.
It's even cooler, Wilds. I'm glad you liked it. But you guys know what else is cool? Playing with scissors.
No,
really?
Don't tell people that.
That's not true.
You have small children.
And they love playing with scissors.
What?
I'm always catching them with scissors. Well,
Take the scissors. Were they buying?
they keep finding scissors.
How many scissors you got in your house?
The goal is to cut down the nets. We got a lot of scissors in the house. We're always doing arts and crafts. These two teams have the most amount of pressure to cut down the nets.
What you should have said.
What?
You know what's cool? Arts and crafts.
No, I like this.
Or nets.
All right.
Guys,
it's cool.
I'm wearing the leather jacket. I know what's cool.
That's true.
My 4 and 6-year-old, they know what's cool,
Yeah.
and it's playing with scissors. Yeah. Duke and Houston are under a lot of pressure. Look at those win percentages. This is since John Shire took over at Duke. Kelvin Sampson, we know he hasn't won a title. Houston lost in the final last year, Final Four in 2021, Elite Eight in 2022. Shire, Final Four last year, Elite Eight the year before that. I would argue 68 teams in the tournament, these two teams are under more pressure than any other program.
So here's the problem, though, Danny.
Okay.
Brew and I both picked Houston to win the championship, so I agree with you. But Duke can't be under that much pressure because Kevin has explained to us they're an underdog, and he's the only one who believes.
Well, they shouldn't be. If they're just, it's just a cakewalk. You know, if everybody's got them.
You think you discovered Duke basketball?
He does.
I was early on Duke this year.
Early on Duke.
I was early on. I was so early.
He was the first one to discover.
I was
Bougie.
early on.
What was their preseason ranking?
I don't know, but first of all,
it's got it. Was it one?
That's what
it wasn't one. Thank you, Troy.
I don't think it
Thank
was
you,
one.
Troy. And
but
for the record,
preseason.
3 probably.
I never do this on the air. They were number 6 preseason.
exactly. And then I started talking. I was in love with them then.
Okay. All right. Fair
Okay,
enough.
I was early on them.
All right. Fair enough.
All right. Well, glad we just talked about it. You guys know what else is cool though?
What?
I think everyone will
I hope
agree.
this one is wild.
Freshman year.
Freshman year.
Freshman year is a great time.
It is a great time.
It's just like, oh man, am I an adult? No, not really. Cameron Boozer can join a very exclusive group. Last 50 years, that is the list of freshmen who have been the most outstanding player, basically the MVP, of a tournament. A who's who of legends in college hoops. But if you go even further, because he is the heavy favorite to win National Player of the Year, a freshman to win a title and Player of the Year, Anthony Davis is the only one.
Come on.
So, and when we talk about
Melo got robbed.
Who was freshman year?
I said Melo got robbed, but go ahead. Sorry.
yeah, but when you just talk about like, we talk about a lot Peterson, DeBance, Boozer is going to be the 3rd or 4th pick in this draft. I like talking about the tournament not through the NBA draft prism, but through what it does for your college career. Cameron Boozer cuts down the nets here, gets to play with some scissors. He is on a very exclusive club.
Do you think, though, he is the best freshman?
Well,
like, do you think he's better than DeBansa? He obviously has been better this year than Peterson. Whether the pro stuff, like you said, you don't want to look through it.
It's just, I don't find that, like, listen, I love the NBA more than college basketball, but like this time of year, to me, you should grade it through the
But do you
prism
think he was better than DeBansa this year? Or just he was on the better team? Honest question. I don't know the
Yeah, no, I do think DeBansa was asked to do more and was the better player, but in terms of like team accolades factor into these awards across all. It factors in for MVP, All NBA, so I think that's not unique to college basketball. So he's right up there with Anthony Davis and all the great freshmen in college basketball history.
We've got 4, right?
We did 4 because Final 4 is what we're going for.
That's
which is
Wild's way of saying get on.
keep it moving.
I'm just translating. Am I wrong?
No, you guys
Well, we
are good
added
teammates.
one. We went long on base.
All right, you guys know what else is cool?
What else is
Glad you asked.
What?
Ask Greg Jennings. Putting the team on your back, though.
Oh, yeah.
Mention AJ DeBansa. This guy.
Oh, I didn't mean to step on it. Sorry.
No, that's okay. 30.1% of his team's points. 3rd highest by any player of a tournament team in the last 7 years.
Oh, too heavy. I was going to say, I don't love this.
Well, right. It's why I didn't have him in my top 10 players who will define
You
the
think
tournament.
they're going out early?
Saunders getting hurt, their 2nd best player. That number's going to go up. In terms of he might legitimately account for 40% or more of their points, however long they go in the tournament, because the 2nd best player is out for the rest of the season. He's a remarkable player. His floor as a pro is insane. But a lot of people said on Twitter, they got mad at me, like the kind of pushback how you did. They're like, no, one player can carry a team. Carmelo Anthony had Hakeem Warwick and Jerry McNamara. There are other players on these teams. In BYU's case, I think they're in real trouble, and DeBansa is just going to have to do too much. And he's already done a historic amount in terms of carrying the load for score.
No, that's fair. I mean, he without Saunders, now it's just much more for him to do. I'd love it if they could make a run. I mean, he's the leading scorer in the country. He's electric, fun to watch. If he could get them on a nice run, that'd be one of the best stories in the.
If he gets to the 2nd weekend.
If they, just making the Sweet 16.
Yeah,
I also think that might. I know you said you don't want to look it through this lens,
No, it's
but
just
I
me,
think
go
getting
ahead.
to the Sweet 16 would probably cement him as the number one pick. Because it would mean he's very good in round 1 and awesome in round 2. Because they're the 6th seed, so they'd have to beat 3
They
in
got
round 2.
Gonzaga.
Yeah, and that's what
which would be a tough one. Yeah.
All right, last one. And Wilds, I think you'll like this one because you guys know what
I
else
like
is
them
cool?
all, first of all.
Oh, great. Well, I'm glad.
He's just hurry up.
Blank of death.
Blank of death?
You like that in the World Cup? Group of death?
Oh, I did like the group.
We got a region of death. The
Yes,
East,
I know.
The East region.
That's my squad. That's why I'm.
Okay. Have we ever seen this before? Head coaches
Look
in
at
the
that.
East region
Wow.
combined Final Fours, 23. All the other
John
coaches.
Wooden by himself.
All the other coaches in the bracket combined, 17 Final Four appearances. Izzo with 8, Pitino with 7, Bill Self with 4, Hurley with 2, Shire with 1, and Mick Cronin has 1.
And so all the other coaches have 17, and one of those coaches is Calipari.
Correct.
Which means like so that's unbelievable.
I dislike how that region fell because I wanted to root for St. John. I didn't want UConn in with Duke.
I didn't like personal preference.
I didn't like Michigan State. I just feel like there's.
Should have consulted.
I feel like there's
Duke.
obviously a stronger bracket and obviously a weaker bracket.
I don't know if I agree with that. I think there is a disproportionately strong coaching bracket. You know what I mean? But I don't necessarily know that means that is the strongest team.
Well, I don't think St. John's a 5. I don't think St. John's a true 5.
It is weird because you're like, well, all the 5 seeds. There's 4 5 seeds. It's just weird that the top coached 4 seed Kansas is in the top coached 2 seed UConn and in the top coached 5 seed St. John's. All of the Hall of Fame coaches in one region is weird when it is a sport that is so marketed and celebrated around its coaches. You would have thought it would have been spread out a little bit. So
that's what I said.
Some cool
that
stats.
was cool, man.
That was cool.
Thanks, man.
That was cool. That was cool.
I'm ready for March.
Yeah.
You guys are making me
good
work
news.
next
We have more cool stuff. We are now debuting. You don't need another wardrobe.
I
change.
do.
This is
You don't. It's not a Beyonce concert, dude. Just wear one outfit and just give some opinions. You don't
like when I wear my.
You don't have to keep rolling VOs so you have new outfits.
You don't like when I wear outfits to do normal sports talk.
He's like, where's my crown?
You want me to put these back on for you for my picks? It's not a problem.
All right.
You guys want my Final 4?
Yes.
It's a cool one.
All right.
All right. What are we doing here? We got the Illini. Oh, yeah, the Final 4 makes sense. Okay. The Illini, Duke, Arizona, and Michigan.
Is that the same as yours?
No, I don't have Arizona.
Oh, you had
I don't
Arkansas
believe in Arizona.
instead of Arizona.
So, Arizona, little bit of a narrative play. Thought they were a really cool team growing up. But no, the depth of them, the fact that a West Coast team hasn't been in, they are ridiculously tested. I do think the Big 12 is the best conference in the country this year. The Illini, I'm a little worried about Brad Underwood in a close late game situation. He has not had a tremendous amount of success like X's and O's and getting his team into the best spots. But their offense is overwhelming. They are the best offense in the country. They went 0-4 this year in overtime games. A lot of really close bad luck losses. I think they're a little better than their record suggests. Duke, the favorite, most talented team. And Michigan, I thought, got an incredible draw. I talked about it yesterday. Their team is huge and the rest of the teams in the region are either injured or not big. I think I will be floored if Michigan doesn't make it to the Final 4. So given that they're the most confident team of the 4, I have Michigan cutting down the Nets.
Wow.
Yeah.
Do you have them playing Duke or Illinois?
Duke.
Okay.
Yeah, Michigan, Duke.
That'd be fun.
Yeah, it'd be high profile. Excellent. Again, 1 seeds. And the monologue today is about how I think Cinderella is going extinct. We'll talk about that at the end of the OT.
Wow.
It's a little tease.
That was great. I'm looking forward to that too.
You should tune in.
All right. Coming up next.
Go home and play with some scissors.
Jared Allen joins the show to talk about Kyler and the Vikings. That's next on First Things First Overtime. One more outfit change. Just full new blazer and new tie.
Welcome back to First Things First. Maxx Crosby, he's giving new meaning to what happens in Vegas, stays in Vegas, because he's back as a Raider. He sat down on his podcast, The Rush with Maxx Crosby, to talk about the Ravens backing out of their trade. Take a listen to Crosby.
One of the Ravens guys called me and was like, yo, we're trying to figure this out. We're gonna get this done. Don't worry. Like 5 minutes later, CJ calls me. It's like, they're backing out. I'm like, holy. So I'm like frozen. I'm like, what the I'm livid, confused, the whole 9 all in one. It was a whirlwind to say the least. Like I said, everything happens for a reason, bro. I'm fired up. I'm here. I'm meant to be a Raider. I'm in this for life. And until that changes, which I don't foresee, you never know. Honestly, you never know in this damn league. I found that out for sure. But I just feel like I'm meant to be a Raider, and that's what it is.
Good editing by us. So Danny Parkins, Willie Colon, and we are thrilled to be joined by a man who knows a little something about sacking the quarterback, the Hall of Famer, Jared Allen, kind enough to join us on the OT. Jared, you think Maxx Crosby has a right to be effing livid?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, he's obviously taking the high road. I would have had more choice words and probably, in his gut, in his heart, he has some serious disdain for the Ravens. And I hope the Ravens are on that calendar because he's going to probably get 2 or 3 on them. But yeah, I mean, the reality is, dude, they did him dirty. I don't care how they want to spin it. As someone who's been, at the center of a very high value, trade before, where they had to give up picks and long-term contract. Man, all the due diligence is done. It was done. You know, coming up there and getting your physical, it's semantics. And if what he said is true, the fact that he didn't meet the coach or the GM after 5 hours of being in the building. When I went to Minnesota, man, yeah, I got picked up on my D line, but the first people I met is the coach, right? You know, it's Brad Childress. You got the GM. You got ownership. These guys are giving up 2 first-round picks, and the reality is that's what it came down to. They realized that, you know, he's 28. And, you know, well, as you know, at 30 and at that position, you're old, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, even if Maxx has 4 more years of elite level, that puts him at 32. Is that worth 2 first-round picks and then whatever the, you know, money is they're going to have to pay him as well? I know he's already on a contract from the Raiders. So the reality is they got cold feet and they realized, like, holy crap, we're probably giving up more than we need to. And then they had an option with Trey, and they were never going to couple those two together. That was never going to happen. They can spend that all they want. But from a player standpoint, I mean, that's the way it happened. I mean, they realized, you know what, we're leveraging too much, and then it's the old medical, right, to bail out of it. Anybody can fail a physical pretty much for any reason. I mean, they just have to have one doctor say that they didn't pass their physical. But the reality is the Raiders wouldn't have put him in that position, I have to believe. And they knew what it was, and they're signing another guy who's coming off another surgery. They just don't have to get picks for him. That's the case. They got cold feet, and they hosed Maxx up. They really did. That's jacked up. And if he's obviously taking the high road, because I'd be pissed at the Raiders. I'd be pissed at the Ravens, and I'd probably be trying to file a grievance with the NFL because they probably screwed up. I mean, think about it now. I mean, now they're exposed him saying he failed the physical, right? So now you're putting his medical stuff out there, and I don't know what legal ramifications they're in. They're not saying anything specifically. They're obviously talking about his knee, but you have HIPAA laws. You can probably do something around. You got and now, I mean, now what? Now the Raiders, they know what the Raiders are going to get. How do they leverage that for a potential trade deal? How has that impacted the Raiders after signing all these people thinking they had a deal done? So yeah, they hose Maxx up, they hose the Raiders up, and I mean, I hope the league comes in and does something because this was dirty.
Yeah, Jared's spot on, man. I think it also exposes the dysfunction in Baltimore, right? Because you don't just get here, right? Like, you got to understand. The Ravens have been around for 31 years. They've never made a deal or attempted a deal like this in the history of the franchise. So when something catastrophic like this is about to happen, J.A. is right. Ducks are lined up. Like, you get a king's welcome if this deal goes through, right? So the fact that you don't see your position coach, that you don't even meet the head coach, and Jared makes another good point. You just told the world that Maxx Crosby's a lemon. He's technically a lemon. So. And you just said the Raiders lied to you, right? And on top of that, if you're Maxx Crosby, you're not saying, hey, man, I said goodbye to a lot of good guys in that locker room. And you put me on an emotional roller coaster. Now I have to walk back in that building and say, hey, man, some things are just bigger than me. But now you kind of have to reestablish yourself, right? Because now the world feels like this knee is gimpy. You may have some trustworthy words, issues with John Spytek. So it's just a lot. So I think it's unfair that he had to go through, because if you know anything about Maxx Crosby, he's been a model citizen. He was drafted by the Raiders. He played over 6,000 snaps for the Raiders. Like, he's the face of the Raiders, and he had to go through this whole circus, so it's tough.
Yeah, and Jerry, you're a great person to talk about, the Chiefs and Vikings and the big trade and everything going on in your career. Like, you could definitely put yourself in those shoes. Like, Maxx says, well, now I'm just going to be a Raider. Can you walk it back? Like, can he play again for the Raiders? It's tough for me to imagine.
He's going to try. Maxx doing what Maxx has to do, right? And I think he has the mindset. I don't know Maxx well. Him and I have some brief text conversations over the years. But I know people that know him well, and I know what kind of work ethic the guy has, right? So I'll tell you this: if it's me, if I'm Maxx Crosby, I'm the most pissed off dude in the NFL, and I'm going out there to prove everybody wrong, right? So there's that upside for him. But you're in you have a new coaching staff, you have a whole new organization basically, who basically said, we didn't want you here. And the reality is too, Maxx and his agent, the trade wasn't a surprise with them. A player of that caliber doesn't get traded without him and his agent being fully aware of it and knowing, and helping piece together the compensation package and that kind of stuff too. So you have two parties who are amicably going to split based on compensation, now coming back, pretending we both want each other. And like you said, you have a new coach, new team, new D-line. You have new players that now the face of your franchise was supposed to be someone else. Now he's back. So how are you going to sit there and now rebuild that chemistry, rebuild that culture around Maxx Crosby? And the reality is they might not want that. No one's talking about it. Sometimes when new coaches come in, they fire everybody. They hardly ever keep someone from the old coaching staff. Even the trainers get the axe. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because they want people that are there for them to build their culture. Maxx is a holdover from several coaches, right? So Maxx has a way of doing things. Now, granted, like you said, he's been nothing but amazing for the Raiders and that organization and that city and what he's put on the field. So a coach would be silly not to want to build around him. But he's also, again, he's getting up there. He's 28 years old. He's pushing those upper limits. And a young coach might come in and say, "Hey, I need these picks. I need these players. We're looking at a 3-4 year future." And Maxx really is looking at it, 1, 2, 3 year future of trying to win a Super Bowl. And I don't know how it comes back together. I really don't. If I would have went to Minnesota and the rug would have got yanked out because I was leaving Kansas City for a reason, I wouldn't go back. I'd be beating the door down trying to get another trade. But now like you said, now your leverage is gone.
Right.
Now your leverage is gone because now you're going to go somewhere. They're going to say, "What? We're going to pull you because you're injured." And not to mention, let's not pretend that dude probably flew out commercial either. They probably sent the jet for him too.
They say Crosby said he said they flew him into D.C. and sent a car. Which was, another sign. Like, you can't.
Well, there you go.
You can't.
If they spend that much money on me and they would have not sent the owner's plane, there was a red flag right there.
But what's interesting, they sent them on a private plane back home
because you said they felt bad about it. They
saved a bunch of money. They just saved a bunch of money.
I always
think.
No,
and again, I know we're laughing kind of, but they did him bad, and their excuse even sucked. Like their excuse was like, "Oh, it's bad." It's terrible. It's terrible for the league. It doesn't build trust in that organization. And to be honest, if I'm any player going to any team now, right, like you're going to learn from this. It's very similar like when Steve Hutchinson came from
Seattle.
The Seattle Seahawks to us in Minnesota. He came there, I think, a year before I was there, 2 years before I got there. But he put the poison pill in, right? And then all of a sudden that changed negotiation. This is going to create a different way of tactics that now agents are going to try to protect their players against this kind of stuff. And I don't see it being beneficial for either side.
Well, listen, it's a good time to have you to talk about this topic, but then also another franchise that you're very familiar with, the Minnesota Vikings. They made news in terms of, hey, they signed Kyler Murray, but the Cardinals are paying him. But Kevin O'Connell says this can be a multi-year thing. He said that Kyler was the only quarterback available who he saw as a potential multi-year long-term solution. So, Jared, I'll go back to you. Do you buy it? Do you buy that Kyler Murray could be the long-term answer at quarterback for your former team, the Minnesota Vikings?
This is going to sound kind of like a non-answer, but I mean, it's all going to depend on what this year is, right? It really is a one-year tryout. I think he's clearly a talented player. Obviously, being a top pick. I'm worried about him. And again, I trust the Vikings implicitly with their decisions. I love O'Connell and KO and those guys. I think they do a fantastic job. But again, I would hope they go back and check what the knocks have been. Right? This is the one thing that scares me. When I think he's owed $30-some odd million still from the Cardinals.
Yep.
If someone's willing to pay you $30 million plus not to be in a building, that scares me, right? But maybe that's the wake-up call he needs. Maybe that's the motivation call he needs. From a talent level, yeah. Do I think he could be great in this league? Absolutely. But it's all going to come down to what he does this year. And then we're going to have to be in that same situation. Is he going to, if he has a great year, is he worth the high dollar value that you're going to have to pay him to keep him long term? And can he stay motivated? Because, really, as guys will have one good year motivated off money in this year, or motivated off of, wanting to prove, getting cut, prove somebody wrong. But is that sustainable? And, we're in a position where we don't really have time to keep screwing around with quarterback after quarterback, because you got Justin Jefferson, one of the greatest players in the NFL right now, and his clock's running out. And that dude works. And that dude's, and maybe that's why Kyler can be super successful with us, because he doesn't have to carry the franchise on his back. He doesn't have to carry the workload. You got, Hawk and what we can do on the offensive side, and then that defense is vicious. But we're in a tight window. We need to win a championship. And our window is always doing this with those guys year after year. And so hopefully he can be that. I trust KO. But again, my biggest question is, why is someone willing to pay you so much money not to be in the building?
Yeah, listen, you're never going to name your rental your forever car, all right? It doesn't happen that way. I'm with you from this standpoint. The biggest question about Kyler Murray is not his skill set, it's his commitment to the game. And if you're trying to be a leader of men on the field, you got to lead by example. I know guys in that locker from Arizona, and one thing they talk about Kyler Murray is not that he can't ball, is that sometimes he checks out. And now you're talking about an organization, the Minnesota Vikings, that, hey, man, they took an L last year, right? And they took a major L because they just sent their prize quarterback in J.J. McCarthy, who's only started 10 games, by the way, and they say, hey, bye-bye. We got a new quarterback. So now they're looking at Kyler Murray like, man, you got to be more than him, right? We need you to stabilize this thing because we got a lot of weapons on the outside. We got to maximize their window. To your point, on top of that, we got a division right now that who has a new face. His name is Caleb Williams. So the Vikings won't admit it, but this is panic mode. This is how I say it. I think the Vikings are in panic mode, and they need Kyler Murray to deliver, and they got to figure out if he can work with KOC or not. Bottom line.
Willie, was it panic mode when you guys were doing the scouting reports and Jared Allen was on the other side?
No, Big Mac Starks had to worry about J.A. I had to worry about those Williams brothers. Those bad boys. J.A. was a dog, but those two Williams brothers, woo!
Oh,
those some
I'm
bad
not gonna lie. I would agree with you. I think you had the harder task on the inside because, my gosh, that's like 650 plus pounds coming at you, depending on where, you know.
But Jay, this is the problem. They both could dance. They were like, them boys a lot on their feet.
Yeah, people don't give Pat Williams enough credit for that. That dude had some of the best, quickest feet at 330 plus pounds I'd ever seen. And then, you know, Big Kevin, obviously, just a monster.
Thank you, Jared Allen, Hall of Famer. We really enjoyed you. We'll have you back on First Things First. Willie, we're talking Niners coming up on the OT. Thanks for hanging out on the OT with Willie Colon and myself. Let's go to San Francisco here. This is a fascinating team to talk about. George Kittle was on Bussin' with the Boys about the upcoming season and the addition of Mike Evans. He said Mike Evans reached out to Kittle to kind of get the pitch on the Niners, and he was like, well, we hit hard and play well. Hit people hard in the face and play really well. It's like, all right, well, that's an interesting sell.
Football.
I actually don't totally think of the Niners as like that much of a smash mouth team, but it is an interesting pitch. How dangerous do you consider the Niners to be?
It's tough, man, because I think even though they have Mike Evans, you talk about the addition of Christian Kirk, they got Dre Greenlaw back in the building. Bosa and Warner will be back in the lineup, so you expect obviously an impact. But I think the biggest, what's not going to be talked about, hasn't been talked about, is that they're going to miss Robert Saleh. Like he was somebody who, and I've said this, not to be redundant, like he had a duct tape defense that hummed and was able to win games with, right? Like when you lose Fred Warner, you lose Bosa, you don't have interior help. I mean, it was cause for this. It was cause for concern that this defense was going to tap out. They never did. Half of the time when you looked at their lineup, you didn't even know who was out there, but you saw these guys flying around making plays. To say all that, I do think when you have Kyle Shanahan, you have some additions on the outside, like I just mentioned, you got CMC, and you have to believe that Purdy, as long as he stays healthy, this team could shake some serious things up. I think the question I throw to you, do you think this team has caught up to the Rams and Seahawks?
So, to me, they're the if team. Like, if the right guys stay healthy, they can win the Super Bowl. But, like, the vast majority of their best players are either on the teetering towards the wrong end of their athletic prime, getting straight up old, or injury prone. Like when you talk about Bosa and Warner and Greenlaw and Christian McCaffrey, like it's
even Mike Evans.
Mike Evans had been really durable until this last year, but maybe that's he's 33 years old.
But
so
Christian Kirk went through a big injury.
So it's just like their best players, their biggest names, are old or injured, but they're all awesome.
Impact.
So it's like if they have a year where the right guys stay healthy or are healthy late, even if you miss 4 games, but if you miss 4 games in October, it's different than missing the 4 games leading into the playoffs. So I absolutely think they can win the Super Bowl. But the injury thing and the age thing for them is so tough because think about what you just said about last year and all the guys who got hurt. They won 12 games.
Right.
They won.
Well, they didn't know about DeMarcus Robinson.
They were
he won that playoff game in Philly.
Well, and Shanahan is an amazing coach.
Right, I love him.
And he gives you such a high floor offensively, and week-to-week game planning is going to be so elite and so far ahead of 95% of the rest of the league. It's like their floor is so high that it's like if they just, and again, banking on health in the NFL is tough. Every team will deal with injuries, and the older teams will deal with more injuries, and the guys who have previously been hurt are more likely to get hurt again in the future. So the likelihood is a few of those guys are going to get hurt again. But if they just have the right guys healthy for the end of the season, they absolutely can win the Super Bowl. Because we talked about this when we were doing the playoff shows. I was like, they were drawing dead against that Seahawks team.
Without a doubt.
It was like because I remember when the Bears played them, it was like, well, the defense was doing well, but then as soon as they would play an offense that had a pulse, they'd give up a big number.
Gotcha.
Like the schedule did them some favors at the end too.
And Mac Jones saved them too.
Yeah, and then Seattle put up 41 in that game. So if they are healthy at the end of the season, their roster is top 5 to 10 in the league. I just don't know if they're going to be healthy. It's impossible to know.
Oh, yeah, it is impossible to know, but I also think you feel, after watching what Seattle did, you see the emergence of Rams and how they pretty much completed their defense. You have to feel like, man, for me able to compete in this division, I need firepower, right? Like, I need Christian Kirk. I obviously got Kittle. But now you're also talking about the receiving core having Mike Evans, Christian Kirk, and Ricky Pearsall is no longer a young guy, right? Like, he's been in the league long enough where you can consider him a legit man. And now you're talking about this receiving core. Like, you're like, all right, we can do some things. It feels like they're built to win a shootout with the Rams, if they get in a shootout with the Seahawks. So if you're Shanahan, you're like, man, I know our defense is still probably a 1 or 2. We need an edge rusher. We probably need some more help in the secondary. But if we get in a shootout against the Rams or the Seahawks, we can go toe for toe with them.
And part of the thing, just from the odds standpoint, like if they're in the AFC South, they're the favorite. If they're in the NFC South, they're the favorite.
Right.
But they're in the NFC West, so they're third place.
Like mid, so to speak.
They're like a healthy third place behind the Rams and Seahawks, which drives all of their odds down. But, maybe the Rams have a bad luck injury season. They've got an older quarterback. Seattle regresses, who knows? So, I do view the Niners as, in that group of teams that absolutely can win. I love March Madness, but I'm worried that Cinderella's going extinct. Next on the O2. Time now for First Things Last. March Madness is arguably the best event in sports. Buzzer beaters, busted brackets, and the annual search for Cinderella. But I have a hunch that we are facing an uncomfortable truth, that Cinderella might be disappearing. Not because the glass slipper doesn't fit anymore, but because someone else bought the shoe. Name, image, and likeness, NIL. It has fundamentally changed the ecosystem of college sports. And remember, the first tournament in the NIL world was just 2022, so this is still relatively new. But the early returns are telling. Last tournament, not a single team seeded 13 or lower won a single game. Meanwhile, the power conferences, the ACC, Big 10, Big 12, and SEC, combined for 55 wins, the most they've ever had. Now, you might yell sample size looking at just last year's tournament, so let's zoom out. From 2000 to 2021, there were 23 double-digit seeds from non-power conferences that made it to the Sweet 16. That's more than one Cinderella crashing the party every year. Since NIL began in 2022, that number is down to 2. And in the last 2 tournaments, 0. Now that feels like more than a coincidence. The mid-major star who used to stay in one place 3 or 4 years, build chemistry with his teammates, and shock the world, he's now a free agent. If he pops in January, he's got Power 5 money calling by April. And this isn't an argument against players getting paid. I'm all for it. There was bound to be unintended consequences. We'll just have to adjust our expectations to loving the tournament for watching giants fall to other giants. And hopefully, the clock hasn't struck midnight on Cinderella quite yet. She's just in the transfer portal. That's all I've got. Thank you so much for hanging out with us on the OT. We're back tomorrow.